You guys all ready for a little bit of streaminess, a little bit of map makingness, a little bit of awesomeness? I hope you are. I hope you're all staying awesome. Hello. It is time. The audio is a bit strange, Red, because for some reason the video decided to screw up the drivers. And if you're playing YouTube in the background, it can be choppy. It's not actually the PC itself. Even happens when I'm editing and stuff as well. You have YouTube in the background. If you don't have it as a focus, it'll be a pest. Right now we're playing stuff from from Harris Heller's Stream Beats. Because why not? And yeah, we're going to be going into map making stuff. I'm going to be joined by Incursus. Apparently I can't say his name without coughing. Incursus. Me and Incursus is going to be joined by Romero. Don't know if he's going to be chatting or not, his community manager for Forge. And yeah, we're going to have some crazy stuff. We've got some finalists. And then we crown one winner. That one winner will make it into the official map pool. So that's not being like modded in or from the workshop or anything. It'll be the official Forge map pool. Which would be pretty cool. But yeah, we got map testing, judging, and then you will be judged and join. Let me just make sure I can see my actual YouTube chat because apparently it wants to run away. YouTube chat, come back here. Thank you. There we go. Uh-oh. Does this sound any better to you guys now? Please be okay now. I'm gonna stop that up and have a little listen back to this. I hope it's working okay. Sometimes Galactus software is not just yet. I need to have a look at my own live stream then. What are you doing? 3, 2, 1, check, check, check. Something. Oh, not just yet. I need to have a look at my own live stream then. Now I'm wondering, is this any better? I really hope it is better because I've checked it and hoping it's playing ball. And I've got the right chat up. Who knows? Excellent! Sometimes the GoXLR software likes to just not work with anything. You reset it all, and then OBS goes, yeah, but I need to be completely restart for me to recognize your awesome voice. But yes, we're back. Welcome to the Fort's official map making tournament with all you goodies. It's time. Excellent. The smashy, frazzy voice. Thank you. Now, just to recap, while it was there, I'm going to be joined by Incursus. We're going to be judging you guys who've sent in lovely maps that will bring in professional players to play, and then we'll judge them, and then you might make it into the official map pool of the game. Without further ado, let me go and say hello to Incursus. Why, hello there, Incursus.
That math doesn't add up. Oh, hey, Frazzz, welcome.
Frazzz.
My GoXLR decided it wanted to make me sound like C3PO.
Oh, that sounds like GoXLR doing that thing that it does every so often.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you wanted to fix that?
Well, I don't even know how this is going to sound, so bear with me.
Let me do it. Hi.
I can't detect any difference.
Oh, it may only come through the screen.
Yeah, no difference
I
at
think
all.
it only come through in stream. It has FX buttons, but yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, we have two high-quality voices. No, we have three high-quality voices, Leighton. We have myself, we have Incursus, and we have Romero. Romero? Am I saying that right?
Close enough.
Okay. Yes, let's go. Right. Now that
I like that your microphone is nice and loud now. That is certainly something. We did have, real quick, Frazzz, I hate to cut you off. Romero, the player count issue.
We can just work with it and cycle players in and out rather than trying to remake the lobby at this point. If you want to, we absolutely can.
I mean, the teams are not good at... Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's up to you. I will leave it. As these are
Frazzz,
all...
would you like to remake the lobby?
1v1 maps.
Remake it? Okay.
So
well, if you'd like to...
No, it's not remade. It needs to be in dedicated mode so that we can get all 6
How
players
that
in
balls to do that?
Okay. It is, you have to go into your Fort's INI and set it to dedicated mode. Let me get the actual...
You had a guide somewhere, didn't you?
I have it open in Notepad. I had it open in Notepad. I no longer have it open in Notepad. Let's see. It's down to...
We will be with you in a moment. This is one point where I wish I had 3 monitors now.
Constance.lua. There you are. That's not what I'm looking for. Where is my line?
I ran away. I didn't like you. He's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to open for Incursus.
This is why I like to keep it open all the time. I just have it there because Notepad++ is a beautiful thing.
Okay, now people are referring to my voice as deep fried Frazzz voice. Don't know how I feel about that. It would seem very Scottish, to be honest. In the sense we have deep fried Mars bars because apparently people like heart attacks.
Welcome to cat herding time. Hey, for once it's not the players that are way behind, which is nice because it means that we can go as soon as we're ready to go. Okay.
Yes. I've got like Force files open and that, so.
Did you get it?
No. Oh, where'd you send it? Where did you send it?
I didn't send it yet.
Oh.
I thought you just... Okay.
No, I've got like the Fort's map folder open, so I can change whatever needs changing again. And start up my Forts.
Mm-hmm.
Romero, I'm actually not remembering where this thing is. It's like I closed it and I don't remember where it is now.
To settings. Data.
Oh, there's gonna be chaos for sure.
Where is settings hardware loot? Where is the settings hardware loot?
You have to add the scripts. You have to open the scripts and add an extra variable that isn't in there by default.
Here.
There, Romero just posted. No. Yes. Yes. Settings hardware. That's why it's changed. That's fine. It's about time because it was broken anyways.
Is that where it's going? The thing I just posted, Incursus. Is it going in that Lua file, Romero?
It should go in settings_Lua.
And
Or
I just-
settings_hardware.lua.
I'm assuming it's because I don't have file formats on. It just says a Lua and the type. I don't have like underscores. That's the notepad file, right? Or it opens a notepad
it
anyway.
It should say settings_hardware, and yes, it should open in Notepad.
Oh, mine just say settings. Ah, there we go. Add you. This is where it's going to break and I'm suddenly going to disappear. Save. Why, thank you. Hey, look, this guy knows streaming. Ow! I forget YouTube has that on for me. Right, that has been ran, so let me just get Forge up. I do have both. They're just in different folders, apparently. Who knows what YouTube, not YouTube, my Steam is up to. I've still got stream starting soon on my, you know. It will come up soon, and you'll see my lovely face, because I'm doing face cam as well. Aha! Alright, so I've started that up. If this doesn't work, then I blame Incursus. It says 9 players, so there we go. Excellent.
Hey. Alright.
Unlock teams. Right. Let me just bring me face in. OBS buttons work. Hello. Thank you very much, Myro. Yes, we're getting. I see an Incursus.
Excellent. So now we should have all the players available in here. No problems.
My
Great.
bad. Apologies for that, folks.
All right, so we are good to get started.
Yes, right. I gave a brief overview. I'm assuming you might have given a brief overview, maybe. I just said where it was to be about and where the map's going to end up, but Incursus has the more bass, like, loving tone voice, so I'll let him start.
So this is the fort's official. Why? Would you have 1 second? I'm getting nuked.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
So
didn't
many
change-
super chats coming in. It's all right. I'll let this one go through.
The
and
nukathon.
then we'll start.
Put away your skills. Oh.
Yeah. All right, so Chad is asking Frazzz, have you tried turning up your 4-watt settings?
But wait, what?
I'm just gonna let that one go. We'll double back to that one later.
What? What?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So here we have the fort's official map making tournament, and it's going to be. So let's go through the structure real quick. We're going to be talking about several of these maps. We only are going to be going over what we consider to be the top 10 maps. We had more than 10 maps submitted, but only the top 10 will be shown here today. Those top 10 were chosen by us, the judges behind the scenes, and the remaining 10 are going to be shown here for everyone to vote on. That includes you guys over here in chat. Don't worry if you guys watch chat. There's going to be links dropped throughout and give you guys an opportunity to judge for yourselves. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the map. We're going to be watching an exhibition on the map. We have players in game. Some of these top players of forts. So if you look at their ranks, these are all top 10 players except for land planters, which will give a mild amount of sass. who just got pushed to rank 11. But we have players like Firework, who was rank 1. E10, currently rank 2. He was rank 1. E10, you lost your rank 1 like earlier, slightly earlier. So that's funny. But yeah, these are literally the top ranked forts players in this lobby here right now. We're going to be playing on these new maps. And then we're going to be judging them.
And if you win, you get a tasty, tasty prize.
Yes. So there is going to be a prize to the winner. And if I recall correctly, the prize is having your freshly created map added to the official ranked map pool. Is that correct?
That is indeed correct. So you'll be a part of the fort's history forever.
And I'm looking forward to it. So, are we ready? We have Land Planters and Bowser, who are on the same team. We got to get what is the first map that we're going to be going for this time?
Are we just going down them, or?
The first map is going to be from GXAPS, also known as Galactic Pirate. And I'll get to that in just a moment, but I did want to make a brief statement here at the beginning. Originally, we had planned to go through some of the maps that didn't quite make the cut, especially some that all of the judges did seem to like, but just didn't have as their first picks. And in one case, actually, every single judge liked it, but it was just the last one to not make it. Unfortunately, since we're running behind, I think we're going to have to skip that part.
We can do a couple of them to show some of the maps, because there are some genuinely very good maps that didn't quite.
There absolutely are, and there are some maps that were very attractive, but again, the winner is going into the ranked map pool, and the criteria of ranked players is a little different, perhaps, than a more casual player. If you could discuss that for a few moments while I get things ready.
Yeah, that's like one of the things that I certainly, when looking over the maps, is it's from a point of, if a ranked player steps into this map, what they're going to find, like some of them were aesthetically really, really cool looking, really awesome looking, but might have not quite hit the mark on terms of, if a ranked player stepped into this, are they just going to be frustrated? Are they just going to be like, what is this? You know, it's kind of like that sort of balancing act.
Right, because remember, ranked players, most of the time when you're playing a ranked match, you want to play on a map where you have access to different strategies. If you're playing a map like Battleships, for example, well, it's just too divergent from what you would expect from a normal Forts gameplay. It's, we have this massive 50-mine economy or this triple core shenanigans going on, which is fun, and it makes for a popular map just in the casual play, but it's really limiting to the amount of strategies that you can effectively play on the thing, and it's taxing to physically do these massive sizes. And there's a lot of different elements that you have to think of that aren't the same between casual Forts play and ranked Forts play.
Most definitely. And I think, I know that looking at yours, we had fairly similar ideas, or maybe not ideas, but sort of outcomes. Because Romero noted himself that a lot of the maps that we ended up voting on and putting in as the top 10 were relatively the same.
Right.
There was a few that were really, really nice, and I can't remember the names off the top of my head now, apart from looking at them, but I didn't want to give too much away. There is some that like they look really, really cool, and it's like, I could see you doing a particular piece of content on this, or a particular, bit of fun on this, or how it would work. But then in a ranked sort of environment, it wouldn't work.
Okay, so while we get set up here, finish all the behind-the-scenes stuff, let's go ahead and show off a couple of these runner-ups. For example, we have, let's see, Arax Exarium. That's the name. That is the, do you have him pulled up? Let me go ahead and pull him up on the screen here real quick.
Is it the crab one?
Yes.
Yes.
The crab. I know a lot of you guys were excited about the animal-themed maps. We have the alpacas, for example, but this one is a runner-up, and it's going to be definitely unique by design. It's wait, did I misspell his name? Did I mispronounce? I may have misspelled his name. and then read it in Wikipedia.
Araxium? I don't.
Oh dear.
Exarium.
Exarium is
Yeah,
the name.
Exarium.
Okay, no, I didn't. All right, that's fine. I thought it
Oh,
was
his name
Erexium.
used
Okay.
to be Erexium.
Ah, that's why. Okay, that's why I'm confused. I'm like, this name is different than I remember it being. Okay. So, are we actually going to be playing on this, or are we just jumping right into the top 10 to play?
We wanting to limit time limits on them.
I think we should just jump right into the top 10, and
Yeah.
we should go from there.
So, I do want to point out also that when ranked players get their hands on a map, one of the first things they're going to do is look for any possible cheese that they can find. So if
Yes.
you can hide a turbine behind something, if you can sell something and get away with it, if there is a spot where a single buzzsaw can destroy a base, they will actively look for all of these things. And that might not always be the most aesthetically pleasing choice in some cases, but that's what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. We have here an example of a map where you can hide turbines behind the crab's claw. Makes for some easily defendable turbines, but is that really what you want? Remember that just because you can do some cheese doesn't mean that it's immediately not a great map or not a good map. It's just something to keep in mind.
Everything's a trade-off. So you look at how much does it cost, how much does it help, and what sort of concessions you have to make to fit something into a space. If we could look at one of the other maps in that folder from Evil Homer.
See the map folder right now. There we go. I had the old one and I'm like, where's the other one? Ah! Come here. There we go.
Evil Homer's map is definitely very interesting. It's all wooden and it has these two separate cores that are very exposed. Aesthetically quite pleasing, and it's a rather strange fort. One thing I noticed about it is that you only get 2 mines on this guy until you get the expansions, which is difficult to deal with as a ranked player because it very much so limits the strategies you can go for to this kind of early games. And when you have a fort that's made out of so much wood, that basically just means that this is a buzzsaw nightmare.
Yeah, like Oops, sorry, Romero.
I believe I counted 10 pieces of metal on this starting fort, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of screams pinch fist rush, and we got all these lovely building opportunities in the back.
Yeah. So this one seems like a very cheesy style map to me.
And not necessarily because of bad design, but simply that this is how ranked players are going to play it.
Mm-hmm. It is the most efficient way to eliminate the core, and so that's something we have to keep in mind when we're judging these maps. It does look nice.
Again, this was a map that all of the judges at least nod to and said, as a second choice or maybe not first. But again, there were a lot of good maps, and sadly, this one just did not make the cut.
Exactly.
But massive thank you to Evil Homer for doing it, of course, though. Just want to make sure that we're extending gratitude towards all the players that have invested the time into these incredible maps. There wasn't a single really bad one. And in terms of me, I think you might be the same, Incursus. There wasn't one that you were like, this is just absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I don't think that we had anything that was absolutely. I don't think I had anything that came off as absolutely terrible. No, these are the map makers. They all did a very good job. We actually had to. It was actually a tough decision coming down to which top 10 to run into this. And speaking of which, are we ready to get started with that?
Yeah.
All right. So which map are we going for first? Just top down. Start with GXAPS.
It's gaps, I think. which is this big guy here, and yeah, which is quite similar to vanilla. I felt in terms of Romero. I was like, Romero, you should have the map. Not reading apparently. I just don't read.
Galactic Pirate. Okay, it's short for Galactic Pirate. I'm gonna call him Galactic Pirate because
that's how we knew him. We know him as
Yes.
Galactic Pirate. Yes,
and
this.
also, I don't know how to pronounce GX. I don't know how to pronounce that.
One brief technical note here is that a lot of the maps had some issues being visible in the workshop, and some of that is our fault. Sadly, one of our guidelines had a character in the map name that caused it not to display. So I spent a few minutes, and by a few minutes I mean hours, re-uploading about half of the maps under my own workshop, and then changing it to ensure that their own name would show up in the credits. But that is why some of these will have different links after the tournament as we communicate with the map makers and fix them.
So yeah, let's
And
get
also
into.
some just didn't work.
It's like, yeah, this is just broken. But yeah, we're about to start our very first match with some rather high-ranking plays. So pay attention to how they're building and how they're utilizing the map that they have. And well, we will judge you. Not the players. I mean, the players will probably mop the floor with us, really. Incursus might stand a chance for like 2 minutes. But
I'm tempted to jump in, but we'll see how that goes.
let us
All right,
do
so
this.
Let's jump in.
We need Geiger to... All right, there we go.
Excellent.
Also, I love the new loading. It's so quick.
All right, so here we have on the left-hand side, Bowser getting himself set up, starting with a third mine right out the gate. And on the right-hand side, we have E10.
Going straight down for the next resource. Plunder.
Indeed. So this one's... I like this map because it has an expansion that you can get to very easily. And what a nice little element the map maker added is it comes with a pre-created attachment on the expansion, so you don't have to spend extra on the foundation nodes. It means you can actually reasonably expand quickly without spending all of your early game eco. And here you can see that we have on the right hand side Mr. Eaton has managed to get 4 mines down and hasn't set himself terribly behind his opponent. Of course, his opponent opened with the armory first, which is expected to just be an aggressive play.
Yeah, seeing that like right from the get-go, because you have a lot of people that will go for a piece of technology first off, and you're already seeing here, there's a sniper, there's a sandbag, so he's looking to do some early game aggression right from the get-go. Whether or not that play of a little bit extra sort of resources first might come in handy. Where is he going? He's off ski.
Yes, it looks like he's building himself a sniper tower. Building up and then building a sniper on top of it is a very common strategy for having the elevation, the altitude advantage, if you would. Having height advantage on your sniper is a huge bonus. It's just the way the angles work, being able to drop your shots down upon your opponent. It really makes for some massive damage output that you otherwise can't get from a sniper that's stuffed behind a sandbag.
You're getting quite a little bit here down in the bottom here and you can see here a couple of gunners going in as well. Oh, well, there goes a sniper.
He tried.
It's like,
He's behind a door and everything, he just missed his shot. That happens. It happens to the best of us.
Oh, there we go. Well, the gunners have now been revealed, but there's nothing actually defending that core, which could make for very interesting.
They also don't really have weapons that can deal damage.
Yeah.
The splash damage on the rocket, the EMP can scratch things, but that's not a significant concern at this point. It looks like E10 here, the Team 2 player on the right side, is just taking it slow, taking up similar strategies, but E10's making sure that everything is basically ready to tank everything. He's not taking any risks. He's just saying, hey, we're going for the same strategy, but you're rushing it. and I'm taking it slow, methodical, making sure everything is perfect before unleashing destruction upon you.
We can see that actually right-hand side has already got his upgrade center, whereas left-hand side is about halfway done with an upgrade center. So it's kind of, ooh, definitely getting a bit of aggressive across the board here. Trading shot for shot. Now, neither of them have anything in front of the windmills, but not really anybody picking on them, to be honest. Who do you think might... well, there we go.
I think Eaton has the advantage here because he's hit his timing and he's getting damage done. Despite starting slower, he was prepared to deal with the earlier assaults of Bowser, and now we have just it's going to be rockets and it's going to be destruction coming out of Eaton here, and Eaton's going to be laying on the pain, and all Bowser can do is make an effort to catch up. He's catching up from behind. He doesn't have a door sniper. He's got manual anti-air, which is fine, but again, it's not enough to really make up for effectively the timing attack. And there are the rockets.
Yeah, if rockets get through at least twice, that could be quite a death kill to your fort. I don't know if he was just giving his friend a little bit of a helping hand there, just casually sniping his own rocket.
Well, it's still... he tried. He tried, you know. Ooh. He's trying with that sniper, but again, it's just an exposed sniper behind a sandbag. It doesn't have the staying power of a doored sniper. And we have more rockets landing.
On either side as well, though, it's like they're almost trading trade for trade, but now left-hand side has... well, no, he's got the gunner at the top, actually, and the gunner down there. Is that gunner in there? I can't see him. He's behind a bush.
Yes. Left-hand side here, Bowser. He does have 3 gunners.
Oh.
So that's going to keep these rockets... it's going to mitigate a lot of the rockets.
It's dangerous. Left-hand fort. That little bit of metal there is starting to... oh.
Ooh, that's expensive.
It's starting to creak and flash. It's doing a little flash for everybody.
This is gonna hurt.
Oh, is that... oh no.
Oh,
that fort's
might
gonna
do it.
Yep.
Yep. There
Whee!
it goes. Explosion.
So this is Galactus Pirates Map. A very great map indeed, and definitely reminds me of Vanilla, which is basically, you know, it's going to be a purely heavy sort of strategy-based map where you just have to rely on yourself. Do what you can. Stability needed on this map. A rope would go a long way.
It could. It's always interesting to see destruction by that particular method, because the fort itself wasn't heavy enough to collapse, but the recoil, just taking the full impact of those rockets, was the difference maker. And that caused the weight to shift to and fro and just broke one of the braces, and that's all it was needed to cause a cascading effect. The fort takes the hit, wobbles backward, and then rotates forward, and snaps. Everything breaks as all the weight shifts forward once more.
And I've learned that if you're doing this in dedicated mode, you have no say when you get kicked out to the lobby, so you don't get replays.
Ah.
Which makes me sad. So you can replay it, but it takes me out when everybody else leaves. It's like, nope.
Okay,
Alright,
I have posted, the link to the voting page, so the viewers, if you put this in your chat, they can go there and vote what they think the map should be rated.
So guys, follow that form link, and you'll get all the goodies if you wish to vote for Galactus Pirates Map there. Rewind in our live streams or whatever if you want to see there. I'm going to... on this end, bring this up so you guys can see the map there. Because the viewers get to vote on what it is. Let me just bring that over there.
One moment, I'll be posting that in your chat in the chat, guys. There we go.
So, what did you two think of the map? And by the way, much like before, since I am currently somewhat occupied, I am going to bow out of the actual grading here and leave it up to you. I will cast a tiebreak if necessary, but what do you guys think?
All right, so what do we think? I do think that map is pretty all right. We do have a grading rubric here, so I'm going to go down the line for that one. Where did I put my grading rubric? Actually, I put it right here. All right, so first up, we're going to be looking at the look of the map, the aesthetic. It should be visually appealing and adhere to the spirit of the style guide. Is it simple? Is the space well utilized? Is it too cluttered? Is it too empty? Like, do the eyes cause? Does it detract too much on the eyes? And I think aesthetically, it's actually pretty good. It's simple. It's not cluttered. The details, it doesn't have any kind of super zany things. It's consistent all around. It's got some props in there and some neat little placements, but nothing that's going to get in the way of any kind of actual gameplay elements.
Yeah,
What do you think, Frazzz?
I would certainly say, in terms of from a purely ranked standpoint as well, it's a very sort of I don't want to say standard as a mediocre type of thing. When I say standard, it's like the standard of the bar where it needs to be set. In terms of, they've got resources they can expand to. There doesn't appear to be very much in the way of cheesing, apart from, I think the only thing that I maybe didn't quite like about this is there can be a lot of weight on the front that you will need to counteract with a rope or something. Maybe if we were looking at any updates, it would be like there'd be either like a slanted bit there or another slight I want to say nugget, but I know it's not a nugget. Slight bit that you can expand onto that you can then balance the fort out. I can see, of course, though, a place where the cheese could happen is there'd be people trying to swing their course back a little bit, taking the weight away, making the full fort in front of it. Do you think they could do that? Or would it smack the wall?
That would be tough because this map is very similar to vanilla in most of its elements. It's got a wall behind it you could attach ropes to. It's the significant differences between this and vanilla are the shape of the starting base, and you have a forward expansion to play with. Those are really the two major differences. And it's gonna be difficult to course swing, but he could. I'm sure he could do it.
You know who I think could do it? King Benji.
I'm sure someone will figure it out. Might even be me if this map manages to get into the ranked pool. All right, but looking at the aesthetic, I do think it's pretty good. Uniqueness, aesthetically, it's very, very similar to vanilla, but it does have a different fort shape, and I like that.
What
It's
is
not
something you would
terribly unique, but
change?
it is good. Something I would change about it. I'm not sure. There isn't a whole lot of space behind the fort where you can actually build your technology and such. But I
Yeah,
don't know if that's a bad thing. Like that, there's space forward to build. I think it leans more toward
aggressive
a
play.
more aggressive style play, and that's okay. I'm not sure what I would change off of this. Like, it's just solid. Like, I can't think of anything that I would say is bad about it. And I think
I wasn't meaning like bad. I was more referring to, though, if there was something like a small tweak, like the tweakiest of
Mhm.
tweaks little feather dusting of something like. I mean, to me, I think the only thing would be the slight bit at the bottom, but I know that the standard layout of the forts and everything that allows for that sort of epic play that ranked players like, living on the edge.
Mm-hmm. We have Narf coming in to say that the front battery is questionable. Etan saying the starting storage is a bit much, but neither of those are particularly unusual. Etan, so the question on the wind floors, because when I was doing some looking at the map beforehand, I noticed the wind floor was a little bit confusing, I think is a good way to describe it. Like it has multiple wind floors that reset at different locations, and it does have a slanted or horizontal wind floor in there. The wind floor is messy, it's odd, yeah. So that I think would be something something would be something to look at. But for just the look of the map, I'll give this one a solid 8.
I went with 8 as well, actually.
Okay.
So looking at everybody voting, though, we've got an average of 6.7 at the moment, with a lot of votes. So make sure, if you're brand new and you're in here, I've lost link now. I'm just going to go and grab the link. If you're brand new and you've just tuned in, there's my link. I'm sure Incursus will post it again. You can vote on this map and what you think of it and whether it should be entered into the official rank pool of thoughts.
I will be closing the viewer voting for this map, but in about 5 minutes, and then we will continue on to the next.
All right.
Shall we start
So-
a round on the next while this vote is going on?
Well, so I need to finish. Let me finish up the rest of the rubric here real quick.
Rubric?
Because we have the gameplay and the
yes.
standards to cover.
Well, in the meantime, I can
This is
go
something that
over
we
some
can
of the
ask the
things.
competitors. Go ahead.
Galactus Pirates did prepare a quick statement about his map. We were originally going to have the players come introduce themselves, but again, in the interest of time, that might not be possible today, so I will just summarize.
Mhm.
He says that originally he used a random word generator to get inspiration for his map, and he came up with potato. So he decided to make a map similar to vanilla, but done with craggy rectangles, hence the name Craggy Basin. And he liked the idea of the downhill building that's possible on the Stalactites 4v4 map.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to go through a lot of iterations to figure out how much foundation you could put in the front without just making it really easy to turtle and tank for days. And so he had to make it both usable but risky. And we want to thank Kronk for helping him test the map.
Okay. That sounds. I love that the inspiration was the word potato. That's just funny.
Can you imagine
Alright,
walking
so-
into a boardroom and they're like, right, we need your ideas for our next art project or PR thing or whatever. What have you got for us? Holds up a bit of paper and just goes, potato. And just walks out the room. Nothing
that would
else
be
said.
great. All right, so gameplay elements. Is it fun to play? Are there any aspects unnecessarily frustrating? Playtime, is it too long? Do the matches take too long? Are they too short? What weapons are usable or unusable? Is it balanced for different commanders? And the starting fort, is it customizable? Are the storages and starting metal balanced for the map? Resource production and total available resources and the map design. What do you think about those elements?
I feel like it's like it boils straight into one of the maps that are used quite a lot. Vanilla is it's very much on the standard level. It's a standard playing field. You know, neither fort is having a sort of advantage. It's very much based on complete skill as the player. There's nothing from what I can tell, to cheese. And so you've got some easy access. I don't think, I think you did slightly mention about there slightly too much in resource storage someone mentioned there, but I don't feel like it is because it feels like it's the standard 1-in-1 and you go from there. I don't personally like where the battery is, but a lot of maps put the battery there. It's a bit of a challenge. You get rid of it, you move it, whatever. You leave it there and you blow up like me.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, like I think it's a very high put together map. It's got it's got quite a aesthetic pleasing. The resources are easy to get to. The next one quite easily, as we saw. I mean, the player 2 got that within mere seconds, straight down to it. Didn't cost them much to get it. Getting that little extra pump of resources in there. There's not much in the way that I could tell because it was what, 4.5 minutes or something that they destroyed each other. There wasn't too much of end game play that we saw. There was no cannons or lasers. But pretty much it was easy to see that they could easily adapt into that and they would have the resources available. Nothing like, triple lasers or anything, but you rarely see that in ranked play. Usually it's like they'll go one way or the other in terms of heavy weapons and, they push that and try and get there. So, I agree. I think it's pretty good.
Right, I'm giving this one an 8 as well for gameplay. Mostly because of its similarity to vanilla. Like, vanilla is a good map, and close to vanilla is... Yeah. If it's that close to vanilla, like, it's going to be a good map. And I think that's the good way to put it. So, like, a 7 or 8 would be good for me. I'm personally a fan of vanilla, so I'm giving it an 8.
Yeah, I would go 8 as well.
For gameplay elements.
Yep.
All right, and then we have the standards.
Which is a performance acceptable on all machines? Did it break anybody? I didn't notice anything. There was no big red text.
These are your the standards. The standards elements is your how well crafted is the map, performance, the world boundaries, grid alignments. Is there any terrain glitches and such? Do projectiles explode when they impact the surfaces and such? Do mines have corresponding visual indicators on which surfaces they can go to? That kind of thing.
One thing, I've been asked in my chat if I'm allowed to show the actual criteria grading sheet. Am I allowed to?
I don't see why not.
I just wanted to make sure.
File.
Yeah. I brought it over. Yeah, this is what we're currently looking over, the standards. Which, I would like to make a point on terrain. Something that did throw me off of a couple of maps that were entered is they looked too basic. They'd be either too blocky or, just quite literally they just kind of go in steps. There wasn't much to them. There was like standard background. There was no little tweaks to the sort of ground, because if you look at the ground, it's not flat in real life, really. I mean, you'll have lumps and bumps everywhere. So if you have something that's too pristine, it doesn't look natural, and because of that, my eyes were drawn to the fact of that, and it made it a glaring issue for me. Okay. Whereas this map, it's got little bumps in here, it's suspected with the ground. Your eye feels like it's a natural way it's meant to look and doesn't kind of throw you off.
Okay. All right, so the viewer voting should be wrapping up now for this, so we should be able to input that number.
What is viewing at?
Looks like we get a 6.7 in there.
6.7! I'm not putting numbers in here because Incursus is doing it, because I've just got the standard sheet. And
Frazzz, go ahead and make sure to answer your numbers in your column there. Romero, would you like me to, or did you want to handle the viewer numbers, viewer votes?
I need to find that link.
Okay, yes, voting is closed. It appears that for an average we have 6.7966, which we will then round to, well, I guess 6.8.
All right.
Putting my numbers in. Putting my numbers in.
All right. So that should be good for this. And that will wrap up Judgments on Galactic Pirates Map.
And next up, I believe, is Alex. I think. If that's... Is that the order? Maybe?
Yes.
I know he's in...
Alex's map is coming up next.
And in we go.
I should point out that Alex's map was somewhat controversial for reasons that will be immediately apparent, and I'm still kind of wrestling with the idea myself, but it absolutely needs to be shown, and here we go.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Alex is always one of those people that the maps he creates or the mods he creates, they always have something a little bit extra. And I don't know how he does the stuff he does do, but it's impressive, and the developers should hire him and just have him make Forge 2. Who are we going to be? Are we going to have Bowser and Ethan against each other again, or are we wanting to switch it up?
I know Land Planters and Felix are not interested in playing this map because they have a lot of experience on it at the moment. So we'll see if anyone else hops in. Alex map time. Yeah, I like this map. I like this map a lot.
Yeah, same. Definitely same. You guys are in the chat who have not seen this or not played this or anything as well. You're gonna see. Does it work in multiplayer the way it's meant to? Yet, I can't remember if it does or doesn't. Geiger is having issues downloading, it seems.
There it goes.
There we go. Alrighty. We need someone to fight each other.
All right, so I'm just going to throw out names here. Then. Let's go with.
Oh, Firework has added himself in.
Geiger and Firework.
Okay,
please.
Geiger and Firework it is.
There we go.
Firework can go team 2. Nobody else change. Let's begin. Who are we waiting on? Firework. There we go.
Let's go.
So this is Alex's map, which is some pretty cool stuff. I really hope I have the right button up. Yep. All right. You see this lovely counter up in the top right here? It's going to be fun. We won't reveal the secret right now. We'll let you wait.
So this is a very simple looking map. Here on the left hand side we have Geiger. And on the right hand side we have Firework.
Almost like point for point nearly in terms of resource technology, but resource wise maybe slightly ahead on the right side for metal, but slightly ahead on the left side for wind. Now, one thing you will find intriguing about this map is you're literally about to find out, but you're thinking, right, you've got a little bit of space and everything, and this is why we probably like this map. It's so cool.
We have moving terrain on this map, where you start with this tiny little island. You now have an extra attachment, and this is cool. This is very cool. Gimmicky, yes, but very, very cool.
It's something that's different, and it works as well in the grand scheme of, say, this was in a ranked match. It does work. It doesn't get, you know, there is a little bit of cheese you can go with and everything, but it gives you more options available, and it doesn't feel like a thing that would allow you to win over your opponent because you both got it as well. But it's a nice little addition that's something different.
that is something I like about it. And what I also like about it is that it's just not the islands don't come too fast. They don't come too slow. They don't come so fast that you can just rush them out, and they're not so slow that they are inconsequential. And here we have this little attachment in front, which allows for some serious extra defenses here. So it's really cool here. I'm just impressed that this is something you can do. Wow.
To be honest, I think Alex can, like, from mods I've played in the past as well, just to, like, he does a lot of work when it comes to coding different things and putting together different things. And some of the stuff I've played, I'm like, how in the, what, like this? It's like you have movable terrain popping up, giving different, you know, you've got left-hand side about to obliterate someone with nukes. You've got right side going for a very sort of heavy, sort of resource type of thing going on here, but very much an interesting design that works and is fun.
Yes.
How would you even build a map like that? I'm being asked. I would ask Alex.
Very carefully, apparently. With a great deal of testing, I imagine.
And a lot of map scripts. You know, a lot of coding. You're probably going to do pretty well when it comes to this. Or just, as Incursus validly pointed out there, test, test, test. Does this work? Does it break? Does it break the computer? Who knows?
I'm not sure. It is still 1v1, so I imagine it'd be difficult to stress the computer out too much.
Oh, no, I was meaning, like, you know, when they're testing it, if it breaks the computer or not.
Ah. Well, I think this is about... You have a good chance of ending the game right here.
Oh! Oh!
Yeah.
Is it gonna stop?
Massive damage.
Here comes another island. Whoop!
We have another expansion island has just appeared for each player. Further in the rear.
Now, you do have the nukes on the left-hand side. Right-hand side does seem to be... They do have the technology to do cannons, but don't have a cannon out yet. So... But the nukes are ready to fire again. And
yeah,
there
those
goes...
nukes are going to keep going.
Uh-oh.
Firework finally taking advantage of the thickness in front of his base. With that forward expansion, he can just straight up add a massive amount of bracing in front of his core.
Oh!
And that'll keep him alive.
Well, that
damage to
was
the
a little
core.
bit... Wait, did I hear... Did that core... I'm sure I heard that core make a noise.
I mean, it's crying right now. It's crying smoke, that's for sure.
It's like, God help me. Why am I here? Fire, please. Do have left side going for a little bit extra on resources now, but that still does have... Oh. Oh dear. The timer is how long the match will last for, and then it calculates based on damage. Because we don't want it to go on for like half an hour, so to speak.
Right.
And we've got maps to get through and show you all the goodies. And yeah. But usually a 10 or 15 minute timer is more than enough for ranked players to demolish each other.
As we saw, it's been barely 5 minutes and we already have one player who's seriously on the back foot here. Now, I question what Fireworks' plan is here. He's trying... Yeah, that's not gonna... He's reacting with wood, but... Oh, he's playing the RNG roulette here. He's just hoping that these gunners
go
were able to
very
keep
wrong.
things- It could absolutely go very, very wrong. He's hoping his gunners are able to defend against those nukes. And nukes, they have a habit of just kind of dodging everything. Now, I don't think...
Oh.
EMP coming in. That's actually... EMP cannon is actually pretty good.
And the two nukes
The
getting
nukes-
shut down as well. Ooh.
That's important. The EMP cannon, the EMP 20 actually doing a great deal of work here. It destroyed all of the turbines, which means that those nukes are not going to be fired again for some time. So that's good. That'll give Firework here an opportunity to
There goes
actually
again.
stabilize.
Not hitting shot. Just taking it one there, but not really causing any structural issues there.
Indeed. Remember that it's still a 20mm cannon. It's not going to be doing serious damage. It's just splashing things around. Taking out exposed elements, a turbine here or there, a gunner when it opens its doors, but we're not really expecting that 20mm to end the game or do anything that's going to seriously inconvenience the opponent. It's more of a suppressive tool than anything else. With the commander ability, he's able to make it an EMP, give it an EMP effect.
He's managing to actually get the 2 off there.
Yeah, simply saved up and is gonna try the anti-air. It lands. But again, with the forward expansion, Firework is able to just face tank that without any serious concern.
He's waiting on... Oh, here it goes.
More EMP effects.
Shutting down the core.
Gunner.
As
Yes,
well.
shutting down the core means a massive reduction to energy.
Is
But
that
here's
windmill
the
in the
thing.
wrong place? Ah. Here come the big
We have
islands.
a new expansion.
That turbine is an anti-sniper device.
So now we have a giant island for each of these players to work with, and you can place mines on the rear island, or you can place 4 missile launchers, which would be huge.
There is a lot of sandbags there now.
Oh, jeez. That was a neat trick, if you guys noticed. Firework placed a turbine here covering his weapon. That's just to keep the weapon alive from the sniper that was trying to destroy it. But here comes the nukes. There are the machine gunners. Machine gunners clear the skies. We got 45 seconds left on this brief showcase
I've noticed
here.
the buzzsaw.
Yes, I imagine that's going to be for disconnecting the anti-air.
Oh, cannon. Oh, wait, if the buzzsaw
Get
hit.
some chip damage on the core, but
He's got 30 seconds left. That is that going to be enough for cannon to reload?
it'll be enough for it to reload, but he's not going to break through that there.
It's got here in Incursus, you can only get 3 mines or silos on the back island.
Is it only 3? I could have sworn it was 4. Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
EMP coming in to shut things down, but that's gonna be it.
Yeah, T1 taking that because of duration. If we want to, if the players and judges, we can always put it to 15. I'd just put it to 10. This is standard usually. I
Yeah.
can't see the replays.
If
Alrighty.
only.
Let's bring up that map. That was by Alex himself. And honestly, it's one of my favorite maps. I don't want to say too much, but one of my favorite maps is in terms of there's a lot of different variables, but it doesn't make it cheesy. And it doesn't make it like impossible for one or the other to win. It does feel like something fresh as well.
Yes. Look at the map. I think it is a bit simple. I think necessarily so because of the way the map is implemented. It can't have a lot of extra detail on it. The space seems a bit too empty to me. As cool as it is, the effect, I think the aesthetic is a little bit lower than I would say our vanilla to work with.
Yeah, like I would probably agree. Like it doesn't have something else going for it in terms of like it's maybe a bit relying on the floating islands and coming up and everything. But it's whether I think it's going to come down to very much a balancing of like, what would you like that more? Do you like that less? So on and so forth. And
Just to note, I've added the link to the next viewer voting forums to Discord, so you can send that to your chats.
I knew there was
There we
something
go.
I was about to do.
So voting is up. Go ahead and follow that link and get your votes in. Get your opinion. Let us hear it.
Go, go, go!
While Frazzz is doing that, I'd like to share just a couple of thoughts about this map. My reaction, and actually B-Man's too, upon first seeing was, there's no way that's going to work without desyncing everyone in the lobby. And the replay seemed to work when we looked at it. So that was quite surprising.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, when I saw it was like, oh, moving islands, I was like, well, that's gonna make every single bleh, and it didn't.
Now, it is not without a few quirks. If it rises through pre-built structure, there are some odd interactions there. In that some things are destroyed and some are not. You can have structure that sort of meanders in and out of solid objects there. But the big one is, if this were to be added to the ranked pool, how do you let players know in advance that, hey, this is now something that has never existed before that you now have to be aware of? And for players, you're probably going to be seeing it for the first time.
I don't know if you'd have some sort of pop-up or something. This is a very good point by Romero there, actually. It's like, so you're used to all these, like, everything being there from the get-go. You know the lay of the land you've got to start with. But then this one leads to, you might be thinking, right, this is what I've got to start with, but there'll be this extra wee bit and this extra wee bit. What do I want to hold off on building? What do I want to use that extra land for? And if people might not be able to view that in terms of otherwise, how would you do it?
I mean, a player can look at a map and say, well, I know a lot about forts. This is what I would do on this map. I can build over here. Maybe there's something down there, or I have to look out for this. It's much harder to say, oh, things could just materialize out of thin air at any moment, and I'm not sure where they're going to be.
Yeah. Unless you did something like, I don't know if it would work, is like a dotted outline in terms of where the islands will then rest once they've come up, so that the players would know that something is going to be in that vicinity. Maybe.
Perhaps even use the unbuildable zones as a means of deterring collisions in that area.
Would the unbuildable zone not allow you to then build on it once it's up?
If you deleted the zone later.
So we've got Kronk here actually saying Alex will do that, he just didn't have time. He'll be using props to show an outline for the island. What do we make of that though? Because we have to take it at what it's at just now.
Well, I would bring up again that I think we all kind of knew that a map wasn't going to be chosen to winner today and be added, tomorrow as is perfect. Every map has gone over many, many revisions. Any of the maps that you see built into forts, I have no idea how many, but I guarantee they went through many, many versions before being final, and they still get adjusted occasionally.
Oh, yes. So, let's go to the rubric here. Look at the map. I do think it is a bit empty. I think it's difficult to... It just doesn't have much to go off of here. I think that's all there is to it. Uniqueness, I gotta say, it is
the uniqueness
it's getting a
is,
solid 10 out of.
yeah.
I would not have expected this ever. When I saw it, I did not expect it at all.
I'm completely the same. When like it is a bit empty, but the uniqueness of the map and the type of sort of mechanics involved in the map are nothing I've ever seen, and I don't think any other maps in the tournament that's been judged have something like that. I could be wrong, but I don't remember something having that.
Like this is the first time I've seen moving or really disappearing terrain, even disappearing terrain, to be honest, let alone moving terrain or the appearance of movement. Okay, so I'm going to give that one a 6 for appearances and aesthetic. But for gameplay is where things get interesting. Is it fun to play? I would think yeah. There are
Yeah,
aspects
definitely
that are
no.
unnecessarily frustrating. Playtime, I think it probably lends toward longer maps, but given that you have so much missile expansions, you can get away with a lot here. Because let me look at my notes. It looks like you can go up to 9 mines total, which is a lot of mines. But you can also replace 4 of those with swarm missile launchers, like, real easily, so that's a healthy way to end the game there. And you've got a lot of stability on your fort, which has its ups and downs. It can make for longer games, because if you have a stable fort, you have a good defensible fort. But it also means that you can just stack cannons all over the place. So...
Here's a cannon, here's a cannon. You want a cannon, you get a
Yeah.
cannon.
As we saw in this match, you can go for later game plays with cannons, but you can also go for earlier game rushes with swarm missiles, for example. So that's... I'm not sure how to... I think I would have to take... I would think it would lend toward longer matches given the forward expansion, allowing for bigger defenses, but I think it's not... It doesn't cross the line into matches too long, I don't think. Every weapon is definitely usable. Starting fort it seemed alright to me. What do you get? The players who've played it, what do you guys think on the starting fort?
Wait on them typing. Are they going to type?
Ball says 20 plus mines. Indeed. The a little bit different.
Land
Those you
plan
have to
just saying
get
works for
massive
me.
Expansions.
As you can see, ranked players are somewhat competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bit.
Very, very competitive. We knew this.
Just a bit.
It's fine. We'll let them squabble.
Where are they squabbling? Are they squabbling in our lobby, or are they squabbling in the...
In lobby.
I saw them sort of squabbling a little bit, and then I was like,
That's fine. We don't have to worry about that. All right, so I've put my rating down for gameplay. I like that it has the time limit on how you can place the on when you can place the new swarm missiles and new foundations and such.
Yeah, because it leads to like a big sort of timing thing as well, in terms of, you know, holding back, maybe building something, or building something now and then putting something else on it.
Right.
You know, for talking sake, you could then put sort of technology on these islands, because it's like the smaller ones are further back. Or do you want the extra resources, or do you want the extra swarm missiles? But are you going to then put the technology next to your main fort or on these islands, and vice versa? There's a lot of unique sort of traits that you'll be able to adapt to, or be crushed by them, so to speak.
Right. And then we have the standards. Is performance acceptable on all machines? I am not confident to say much about this without having tested, and we do not have significant testing going on.
Will it break? I mean, to us, we had a lot of people in there, a lot of observers. We had 2 people playing. There was no desyncs from what I saw. But then again, forts, like really any game, some things can work on a one-off, and they don't work again. Or they could continue to work, and then randomly they won't work, and everybody gets kicked out and the game crashes. But that's
Right, and
games itself.
there's other things to note. So for example, this only works in multiplayer. The scripts don't apply if you go to, say, Sandbox, which means that it's just every instance of the island
As
during its
there.
movement, it's just all there. So it looks real weird because it's not really, it doesn't fly, the island isn't flying, it's just a no-clip madness of every island existing at the same time. So that's a disaster there. And that's something that really shouldn't be in place for it definitely takes away from the standards element of this.
You also wouldn't be able to practice on it, apart from in multiplayer.
You can, you just can't do it via Sandbox. You have to load it up via multiplayer, which is the same thing, assuming you enabled the mods for it. But it's just something to keep in mind for the standards element. But other than that, there's also, I have a note here that the timer stays on screen after the final island rises, so you just have a 0 on the clock in the upper right corner for the rest of the match. But I think I do have to be cautious with this one, because it's, as much as I love the map, I would love to see this map in ranked. I think it's just
something new. It's fresh. I mean, some people who
it's
are
fresh. I'm happy with fresh. I'm just have concerns about the implementation. As much as I love the map.
I think one thing also is some people who are, because Forge gets new fans all the time, but Forge is now how many years? Is it 4 or 5? When
This is coming up in 4 years.
Yeah,
So very shortly, in fact.
yeah, Forge has been out 4 years. So it's been around a while, and it's like you obviously have the meta of the pros, and something that flings a bit of a spanner in the works, but isn't like cheese, is something that could be quite unique, and maybe, you know, we don't necessarily know if it's going to run completely well. I mean, we don't seem to be getting any other things that it isn't, other than obviously when you go into sandbox mode and it looks like, I don't know, I thought something was wrong with my PC when I did it. But it's one of those things, it's like, it is a bit different. It does play quite well, and I hope to see it in the map pool.
I think it is very good, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I think it's just suffering from lack of development time. It's a complicated map, and I think it is in the running for possibly best map, but got some implementation issues. I think that it really needs to work out before it can get into the ranked pool. I think is a good adequate description. Like, we haven't had issues with lag. We haven't had issues with people like lagging out. Eaton says in the 20 matches he's tested on it, haven't had any kind of lag issues or desyncs. Like, it works. I think it just needs a little bit more refinement to put it up over the edge. Because otherwise, it's scoring very highly here for us.
On that note, I'll be closing the viewer voting in just a minute or two. So if you want a chance, vote away. And I think also that, as you say, more development time. Now that this map is out there and people know it's possible, I guarantee there will be millions of takes on this from other people instantly.
Yes.
Whether or not they'll break PCs, though.
I think it's not going to be PC breaking as much as it will just be interesting designs.
With Alex setting a new trend in forts. So yeah, voting will be shutting very soon, so make sure you're clicking the link and letting us know your voice or your number, I guess. And yeah, we will be moving on to... Is it Cranian? Did I just butcher that? Something awful?
Kronian, I think.
Is it Russian?
I don't know, but my tongue rolled, so there's that.
And Genian's one has some lovely red text showing for some reason, which wasn't there. But this is going to be an interesting app. I've just put it there so that the players that we've all got in here can download it and be ready to go when we pick their names from that. Unless Land Plant and Felix, I'm guessing, want to beat each other up.
It's pronounced Carurnian.
What?
Carurnian.
Okay. Yes, we will be going into this map. And are we wanting to stick to the 10 minutes or?
Yeah, let's. I think
Okay.
10 minutes is good just to keep things moving along. We're already babbling on and on during the voting element.
I definitely think this map, again, one of my favorites in the sense of you'll probably get a get-go from the very start of this map, the idea of what type of play this is going to definitely push.
Kerernian. Okay. I'm seeing him give the phonetic explanation in chat here.
Oh?
Kerernian.
Turnerian. Oh, well.
Kerernian.
Just don't ask me to say Carl.
All right, ready to go.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to have the lovely Land Plant against the lovely Felix in that map.
Kerernian's map, yes.
And
Let's
here
do
we
this.
go. Now, as you probably noticed, this is extremely very small, little sort of close quarters match that you can see that's going to be very, very, very quickly from the get-go going on.
I'm curious that I see these players going.
I just want to say thank you so very much, Travis. Don't seem to catch it many live streams with you. Awesome content. Thank you very much, Travis. And I keep forgetting what my thing is for stuff like that. So thank you very, very much for that. And yeah, I don't do many live streams. I try to like mostly videos because I do live streams and YouTube tends to hate my backlog and kill off the backlog views for like a week. But I try to do like this is streaming with Incursus and that. Let's get back to it.
I'll have to get back to that. It's not dissimilar to Abyss.
It feels like Abyss to me, definitely. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Are these cores slightly off?
Not that I can tell.
I need a ruler. You know what? I'm gonna use this. So Scoop got me a lovely thing for Christmas. It's, you know how Rafe from Apex Legends?
Mm-hmm.
It's the kunai. Got my kunai replica.
Nice.
Which I don't know if you even have my stream up or not, but
I do not know.
part of me feels like these forts are. I didn't notice that middle bit.
We're
blocks
seeing
that.
here there's a what prevents basically mortar usage and direct fire weapons. There is a giant part like stalagmite or stalactite coming down from the ceiling. The cores do not have direct line of sight. They have to build down in order to hit each other. So it's an interesting predicament here. And which is kind of why I didn't expect the players to build up, and instead I expected them to build downward, because the only way to contest the opponent is to build down so that you can actually shoot up at your opponents here. Without direct line of sight to the cores, this makes it such that he who controls the lower area controls the game by virtue of being unable to take damage from any area except below the core. Oop, that's a structural failure. Losing a turbine up here, that hurts. Didn't see the terrain in the middle. Yeah, that's a yikes. It's Abyss, but it activates claustrophobia. Roof.
Yeah, it is a very, very small map, but it's right from the get-go. It's like smack the opponent. You have to go for it and go for it and go for it, because if you don't, you're dead. And it's very similar to Abyss. If you do not have timing down, if you do not have stuff out to counter, it is going to be very, very painful for you, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. So
I really like it.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting idea.
Although I didn't actually realize that the middle bit you could shoot through. That's been my bad. How do you feel about that bit?
I don't think I see what you're referring to.
The bit hanging in the middle that they can't actually shoot through.
Oh, that they
Yeah.
can't shoot through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Whenever you have a fort where you don't have line of sight, direct line of sight to your opponent, it turns into this territory war that usually ends up in a stalemate. And that's just because it limits the directions through which you can attack your opponent. If you can only attack your opponent from one very specific spot, all you have to do to never lose the game is control that specific spot. If left-hand side does what he's been doing and just keeps shooting below the opponent's core, then he's never going to be threatened. Now, at this point in time, he's trying to change tactics and mix things around, and I'm not sure what he's doing. Looks like he went for maximum eco before doing anything else. So he's managed to lose map control here, but
We already have some missiles coming in on Felix's side, actually. Oh, a nice
the
EMP
AP
shot
sniper
with
is
a little bit of
ruining his
EMP
day.
goodies.
Yeah, those miniguns that Felix built are just
Ooh.
not being useful right now.
Oh. Well, we have this now.
And here come the rockets.
Oh,
and they're shut
good.
down.
Never mind then. Well,
AP
that gunner
sniper's still
got...
doing things.
It's like, how dare you take out my rockets? I will shoot you in the face. The rockets are... Oh, now Felix doesn't have any gunners left, so he has to manually control his miniguns if he wants to stop the missiles. Which is going to be... could be a small problem. Might not be a small problem.
I wonder, because remember, either player can effectively stalemate the game
Oh,
just by building buzzsaws or anti... Oh, wait a minute. We just had a rocket collide with the terrain and did not detonate. Ooh, that's a yikes.
yeah.
Yep, that's
No
a yikes
collision
right
with
there.
the walls. So missiles or guns don't go through it, but missiles do? Uh-oh.
Yep, that's an
issue. Okay then.
so that is a mistake on the map maker's part, and that will be that will be taken into account in the standards. Rockets detonate on the right-hand side, but not the left. Whoops. So that is just a mistake there. All right. So I think
what
the
do they
players are-
mean by like building a big box in the middle and just leaving it?
So this is the topic that I was mentioning before. Because the cores don't have direct line of sight, they can't actually kill each other without claiming a specific spot on the map, specifically below their core. So all they have to do is just defend, and that's it. As long as they don't lose control of that spot, like you can't defeat the core directly. You have to defeat your opponent's lower element first, and then control the map and go from there. And if you don't lose map control, you don't lose the game. So that's the comment that they're making there.
We got Kronk saying here that it might have some overlapping terrain on that side of the map that could be causing it to not quite register the hit properly.
It's possible. There's several things that can cause issue. There are several elements that can cause issues with exploding rockets or detonations on terrain.
We have rockets going off left, right, and center right now. Oh, just seen a little
Rockets
bit
are
blink
really-
there on the right-hand side.
Yes, rockets are really the only option here because you need direct fire and buzzsaws don't deal damage to cores. Rockets are just the better option.
Yeah, buzzsaws just bounce on it and give it a little tickle. Not even a damaging
Indeed.
tickle, it just makes it giggle.
One other thing to note, players only start with one mine on this map. Yeah.
Ooh.
So with the loss of Felix's lower expansion, he can no longer threaten Team 1's core. So now this is going to end. And considering Felix only has access to 2 mines, given his 1 expansion, he doesn't have the money to make more things.
On the last minute, actually, now as well, seeing a lot of the players that are obviously observing the game as well, not speaking very kindly anymore of the balancing, because it's kind of thrown it off a little bit. Because it feels like
Yes.
if that Felix could have hit the other side, it would have caused some damage to, say, the mine, or it could have caused some physical damage to the tower that's built there, and he could have worked with that. But not having that, and then having shots literally just set a little bit of what wood on fire, didn't really achieve anything for him. And of course, that direct line of sight being non-existent to the core or anything, you've got nowhere to go, and mines maybe could have a little bit more. Now, I do think this map plays into the sort of early aggression, but late game might not really have much going for it.
Right.
And that is it over with. I'm gonna get dragged back to the lobby, aren't I? I can actually do a replay now. What? Okay, sure.
All right. So that is Quirinian's map.
Quirinian. Let me just bring this up. And yeah. So, just so we start with a little bit of the look of the map.
Aesthetically, honestly, I think it looks fine.
Yeah.
It's small, but that's not bad. Space is decently well utilized. Aesthetically, it looks all right. The terrain, it looks fine. It's got stalactites, stalagmites, a couple doodads here or there. Nothing obtrusive, nothing terribly out of place. Very simple map. Unique. I think it's sufficiently unique. It doesn't have anything terribly wild going on. Nothing that screams, "Hey, this map is aesthetically."
Yeah, it feels
concerning.
like Abyss. You know, like Abyss is Underground brother.
Right.
That's not to say it's a bad thing. I do, like, when I booted this map up, the first thing was like, oh yeah, I can see this instantly going into like machine guns, miniguns, sort of very quick play. The only thing is that middle point might come down slightly too much, that half your fort is unusable as a fence.
Mm-hmm.
And that might lead to, I mean, obviously you can have some maps that was like, right, so a pro player, any player, any game you play, you know, overcome an obstacle. But when it comes to ranked play, that you could very easily see, maybe a few more minutes, Felix may have died. He might have not. He might have built back up. Who knows? He might have got a few lucky shots in. It is very much unbalanced in the way that you don't really have much in the way of resources access to. And the literally your top half of your fort is not usable in any shape or form.
Yeah, that map is a bit snowbally considering it's so close range. Left-hand side had 4 mines, whereas right-hand side only had access to 2. So that only would have gone one way.
One way or another.
Mm-hmm. But gameplay-wise, is it fun to play? So I haven't played this. I will say that looking at the chat here of the players in game, they did not enjoy the map, so I cannot say that it is fun to play there. If there are any aspects that are unnecessarily frustrating, I would say yes.
Yeah.
The giant block between the fort, definitely frustrating. Playtime, do matches take too long or too short? Is every weapon usable? I can't say much about playtime. I would think the matches would be a bit of a somewhere between would be somewhere between very short and long drags where no one has eco to actually get anything done, but can't spend resources on anything else other than weapons, because if they do, then they immediately lose. So that's a tough scenario to be placed in. Is every weapon usable? No. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think in this case, that's not a good thing. A lot of the early game weapons, such as mortars, are not usable. Technically, cannons and lasers are usable. Very technically, not that you're going to get up to them in any meaningful time. The starting fort is pretty okay, I think. But, yikes. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 4 on gameplay. Standards. It's got some issues. The screen positions, the grid alignment, that seems okay. But the giant block, that's less okay.
Yeah, it feels like that. Not so much game breaking, but just leads it could very easily turn into just a stalemate.
Mm-hmm.
Popping off a shot against each other and one another. It's like, well.
I don't see any way to use swarm missiles here. It does have multiple wind floors.
One quick technical note, as some of your viewers have noticed, there's a bit of an issue with the scoring spreadsheet, registering some of the numbers incorrectly. I will fix that manually because sadly I cannot decipher Nosed's spreadsheet here.
Okay. I'm going to have to give this a 4 as well for standards. It does have some missed terrain elements. Honestly, the standards weren't that bad. It's really the gameplay that's kind of suffering. We'll do this and bring this up here. Okay. The viewer's vote is not on the Alex map. That is intentional because we're not voting on Alex's map. Voting on Carrarians.
I had to move Alex's voter score, which has actually been tabulated simply because it is currently registering as a date, and I am terrified to touch any of Nosed's formulas right now.
Oh my gosh, it is registering as a date. That's funny. Okay, well, I mean, you should be able to put that in anyways. Like, that's not... It's just a number, how it considers it is... Actually, I'm not sure. This isn't Excel. In Excel, it wouldn't matter. Google, I haven't played around with.
It appeared to have been multiplying by some number I was not familiar with, and giving a score of 40,000, which seemed a little excessive.
Alright, good to know.
Nah, that seems normal.
Alright, so we've
that
got...
That terrain really was
going.
amazing.
And I think that wraps up with the voters' votes coming in a moment. I think that will wrap up Carrarian's map here.
Yeah, just make sure that we get the next one ready to go. Which is none other than Kronk.
Yes, this map did have 2 wind floors, one for up, one for down.
I just got a warning. Map is not publicly visible.
Romero! Broke it.
Okay then.
Kronkinator's map.
Now we get to judge Kronk very harshly. We'll pick on everything.
Yes. Land Planters, I'm not sure if it's able to download this.
I'm wondering because with it saying it's not publicly visible, I don't know if it then giving him access to it. Has Romero left us?
The map is unlisted, but it should be downloadable by anyone who receives a link to it.
There's Land Panther.
Land Panthers might be AFK here.
Oh, no,
he's
got,
downloading it.
there we
Okay,
go.
he's good.
Excellent.
He's good.
Alrighty. Okay, so yes, we got Kronk is up next with his lovely map. Where I guess we're having Geiger versus Ethan. Or is it Ethan? No, because I would have a H. Let's do this. We need Bowser to ready up. Bowser won't ready. Has Bowser left the building? Are we kicking Bowser to... Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. Hanging forts.
I do like hanging forts, and this is a different fort design than we usually see. And this one has a few quirks that I like. So here on the left-hand side, we have Ethan going up against Geiger on the right-hand side.
Kronk, I'm just going to point this out because I'm going to be very, very nitpicky. What is this line in the middle? Actually, that might be my monitor. Let me check. That may actually be my monitor. And nope, it's definitely there. Okay. There's a line right in the middle of the sand.
I'm not sure where you're indicating, like between the two maps, or...
Let me... oh, no, wait, that didn't show my pointer, does it? Oh, no, it does. Yeah. I see a line. Oh, wait, no. It moves. There's a line.
Well, on the left-hand side here, we have a technology rush happening. On the right-hand side, we have less technology rush, more... I guess it is a more traditional heavy weapon style technology rush versus an early aggression style opener.
We can see here, though, like, left-hand side already connected to the bottom bit. Already, you know, upgrade center. Already ahead with resources as well.
Indeed. So we're going to see some early aggression out of this. Now, this does mean that right-hand side is going to have to defend himself, and he can do so. This is an interesting mix because we have a hanging base where you can expand downward. Now, this is... Okay, so I want to point this out because this expansion has top foundations and bottom foundations. This means you can add mines down here, or you can add swarm missiles down below. You cannot do both.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Do you want to blow them up with nukes, or do you want the extra metal?
Indeed, and that's going to be an interesting trade-off. With requiring the expansion, you're not going to be able to do some super quick swarm missile rushes here, but it is something to keep in mind. The swarm missiles are possible, but they do require some expansion. They require you not only to expand downward, they also require you to connect to two different foundation nodes. Incoming rockets.
Ow. That was quite a bit of Geiger's moonshine, isn't he?
That's gonna hurt.
Oh,
He's
man.
coming in with... I've not seen this before, this layout, but I like it. I like it a lot. Very small doors, minigunner in front and between. Ooh, he's just shredding the expansion while he can.
What? The gunner was like facing upwards. He's like, no, I've had enough. This is it. You don't pay me enough.
He's trying to keep it safe, but those rockets, they're just slamming from the side. Ooh, that's gonna be rough. Remember that Geiger here on the right-hand side has gone a bit heavier economy, and it's a heavy weapons technology. So he doesn't have anything to immediately stop these rockets, and he can kind of recover his funds just by having a higher economy, but
yeah,
it's going to scale very quickly. 2 rockets isn't game-ending to get hit by, but it's close. And once more than 2 rockets comes out, things can go sideways. Things can definitely go sideways very quickly.
I do like what is on the left-hand side here by Ethan. this sort of very intricate design sort of thing here as well. This is what you see from pro players. They fit whatever the heck they want.
Yes, players who have the experience to get things done. I question. So Geiger is deciding to increase his economy even more. It looks like he's looking to just face tank this.
Yeah.
Just try to cost effectively defend here, such that he can eventually expand into getting his heavy weapons out. I don't think E10 is going to let him do that. I think E10 is just going to blow him up.
He's just like, yeah, you can't have your cannon. You go boom. Oh. Prompt saying here, the map allows for some great comebacks. It's just the time limit doesn't. But
yes, that is true. I'm okay with that for now because the purpose of this is to just see the maps, get a little bit of time on screen with them. Because remember, these players have tested these. This isn't the first time we have seen these maps. They've been played. It's just that we only have a limited time on the stream to do this because we have to get through a lot of maps here.
Just a few.
Yes, E10, he's upgrading his weapons. He's coming in for the kill. The only thing that can slow him down right now is lack of turbines, and I think he's gonna be he's expanding turbines right now.
Yeah.
Adding in some extra into the corner.
It's just gonna be pretty much missile after missile at this point now. That. We've got a 2020. Oh my god. A 20 mil.
Geiger has managed to sell off some of his internals to get down to 20 mil, but the 20 mil is not a game changer. It's just there. It does splash damage. It doesn't solve the problems.
There's quite a bit of woodwork up on the top there, actually, to make sure that those mines are safe.
Thank you, Jay.
Oh, and another missile's coming in. Oh dear.
I just want to give a shout out to my girlfriend who just brought me bacon.
Bacon.
Literally just a plate with a couple slices of bacon. I'm so happy right now.
My girlfriend helped me a lot as well. Well, beforehand, because I've got face cam, see, but he's not in the room right now. She's on the phone, actually. But I've got my sneak that's nearly finished, though. So, we'll see.
Oh, it's what has been revealed. The EMP goes out and shuts everything down, but does no damage. The sniper retaliates, doesn't quite destroy the 20 mil.
Yeah, I would have expected
not
that.
Looking good for Geiger here.
That 20 mil, if that had managed to like cut the tower or something, but well, apparently he only wanted to send 2 missiles there. It would have probably done like kind of brought him back, but right now it's completely on the back foot. Oh dear. Oh dear.
This is
wow.
Yep. That's over. That is very over.
Donut, you get Scoop in here. I'm not bringing Scoop. We'll not be on face cam. It'll be daft. In case you're wondering, Scoop is my other half if you're new here. Oh. And some missiles again. This is like almost slightly painful to watch because this fort is turning into some Swiss cheese, as you would say. Do you see Geiger coming back from this?
No.
Nope. Nope.
The third rocket is online. There's no economy in this game that can sustain.
I mean, you probably could actually. If you can connect ropes to these points here, you could.
It's a numbers game. The damage output, just the raw DPS of 3 rocket launchers is more than the structural capacity. Yeah. That's that was inevitable. Once that third rocket comes online, 5 mines is not enough to sustain damage taken from 3 rockets.
Yeah. Now we judge Kronk.
Indeed. I'm actually looking to judge this one quite favorably.
Same. I mean, I do quite like hanging forts. because I believe they can create some quite fun gameplay, but also it was very balanced. I think he did point out to me that you could potentially, and I don't know if he said if he's going to fix or not, you could cheese like a windmill. But other than that, like right at the back or something, but other than that, there's not really anything to set it off or anything. We're just going to quickly post the link for everybody to vote for Kronk. So get in there, do your thing.
Go vote. All right, so the aesthetics of this map. Actually, I think they're very good. Something simple. It's not too messy. We do have doodads here or there. We don't have unnecessary areas of the map that are attracting your attention. It's not too cluttered, not claustrophobic, not too big. There's not huge swaths of open space. It looks like these forts are built into the terrain rather than terrain built around them.
Yeah, definitely, and
which is nice. And that should be rating decently high for aesthetic here. I'm gonna give this one a solid. Give this one an 8 for aesthetic. I think would be a good one.
I'm gonna go one higher. I'm gonna go with a 9 because I like me a little hanging fort.
Indeed. And then on to gameplay. Gameplay, I think, also rates pretty high.
Yeah, definitely, because personally as well, hanging forts, a lot of fun playtime, and it does look like, and you can see from the future sort of thing, if there's a little bit more time, you can turn that back around, and so definitely from a competitive point as well, there's a lot of avenue for exploration, a lot of avenue for strategies, and it doesn't seem to be too restricted enough, because some maps you'll have that's like, here you can build like 10 mines. This is, you can build a sort of like equal amount of mines that doesn't overshoot it in any way. The forts are customizable. You had the bottom part, you could go down to, you yourself mentioned as well, you can have the mines or the swarm missiles sort of thing. So there's a lot of various degrees in it that I think the gameplay would just lead to a lot of fun.
Indeed. And in terms of, I think that's good. The gameplay, weapons, every weapon is usable.
I mean, exit.
Oh, that looks tasty. Girlfriend's having a good time with cooking. In terms of weapons, I think the only thing that's really going to be difficult to use will be the mortars, just given it's a given it is a hanging base. But I don't think mortars are entirely unusable, just not great. You can add nukes and or swarm missiles down below so that they come from below. Obviously, not obvious, but they are going to be easy to they're going to be easy to defend against on that map. So they're not unusable, they're just not ideal.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to ever see any meaningful swarm missile rushes on that map. But
they are possible.
They are possible. So that's, I think, okay for there. Gameplay, really, it's just like inefficient mortars, inefficient swarm missiles, which isn't bad. It's really not bad. You get extra damage, effectively extra damage on your buzzsaws as well. I think I'm going to rate this one pretty highly. I think I'll give that one a solid 8 for me.
I went one higher.
Oh, that sounds good to me. Standards-wise, I didn't see anything that was an issue.
No, not at all. I mean, you don't have... one thing I think it annoys me with some modded maps is you hit the spacebar and it goes nowhere. So it's been a nice comfort to have that in every single one, but again, that's done. The terrain's set up. There was nothing clipping. There was nothing that was, for instance, was it the previous map we had where the rockets were just poof. We did have them exploding on contact of anything like that. You know, there was very well put together, very, you know, seems to have been, you know, practiced upon, so there's no little niggles here or there. So I think standards are pretty high in this one, definitely.
I tend to agree. I'll give this one a 9 on the standards.
I've went on 999.
Yes. Excellent. So that's a very highly rated map. Good job.
And we're waiting on the voters one
Crocodile.
coming in as well. A lot of people voting in this one.
Indeed. This is last chance to vote before we move on to the next map. And should we say, let's start moving on to the next map while we let the voters go through.
Which is a little, is it Little Ren? Little Ren? Little Ren? I don't know.
Lil Ren, yes.
Which, again, this map from the get-go instantly reminded me of vanilla.
That's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. All right, who are we gonna have beating each other up?
42. Message Romero if you would like to take a look at things. He's handling the spreadsheets behind the scenes.
Yeah, Romero's doing all the background stuff so that we just look over and press buttons and it works.
Yes. Very good job. He's very good at that, and I am
Extremely.
perpetually impressed.
Yeah, guys, we want to send a big, huge shout out to Romero, who is a community manager for Frazzz. So you want to give him cupcakes and cookies, and some tea and hot chocolate, and make sure that he's, you know. All right, so we've got firework against Felix, I believe. Are we good
Indeed,
to
and
go?
We are ready.
Let's do this. Nope, we're waiting on Bowser again.
Bowser.
Bowser! There we go.
There we are.
You shout on him, you click. So yeah, you've probably seen instantly, without the middle section, this is very vanilla. But you can see there's some little points just in front of the fort that you can get to. And yeah, and little points above the forts as well. So quite a little bit going on, some nice gameplay. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys take advantage of this. What are you thinking, Incursus?
I'm thinking that here on the left-hand side, we have Felix jumping in, starting with an upgrade center and expanding upward. Looking like he's just taking things a little bit slow. Upgrade center typically, at least in these upper level of play, as an aggressive option. So this is gonna be something to see. And on the right-hand side, we have firework. Opening defensively, we have an energy shield already down in front of his turbines, and we have a workshop placed.
Yeah, very much looking to go for resource heavy here on right hand side, but like we'll see how this plays out for each of the players.
Yes, calling back to what you mentioned before, this is a very similar style to vanilla. We have the wall behind, decently close, about same distance as regular vanilla. Different aesthetic, of course, but everything else, gameplay mechanics is very similar, with the exception of we have expansion options available. Behind each fort, we have a small spit of foundation bracing where the players can directly connect to the wall. They also have an extra little spot above where they can move up and they can get another mine up there, which is quite nice. Similarly, these bases can expand downward, straight downward, and then forward some more, kind of crawling forward. Now, some of these expansions, especially the downward ones, are a little bit difficult to get to. These are going to be resource intensive and a little bit unstable until they're fully fleshed out. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. It looks like
Oh dear.
Felix is just getting aggressive.
Oh my
Bringing the
lord.
miniguns to bear. Firework is already prepared for this. He's got a sniper behind, double doors actually, slanted armor, energy shield ricocheting those machine gun shells all over the place.
Ooh.
And those immediately Felix is shut down. He's hardwalling his gunners. He's conceded defeat there. Tiny Door is indeed overpowered, as we have seen.
Look at this tiny door. Like, it's so cute and adorable. So, like, hello, I'm in here.
Yes, it's very, very well played. And now Firework is just gonna casually keep expanding his economy. He's taking it slow, and he's gone up to his first expansion above. He's having a little bit of difficulty. He's having a little bit of difficulty stabilizing things here, but it looks like he's gonna get that. There it is. All right, nice.
I feel like he's tried and tested sort of minigun spam and gets shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Big issue when doing miniguns, if you're known for miniguns, is that they know the miniguns are coming, and then you completely sidestep it.
Indeed.
But we can see that he's wrapped it around and going for some lovely swarms.
Swarms gonna be strong on this map, at least until the expansions arrive. Let's remember, from a gameplay perspective, swarm missiles suffer from two things. One, large distances. We don't have large distances here, but it is a medium distance, so there's a fair amount of time for machine gunners to get one or two bursts, like full burst or two bursts at these swarm missiles. So that's a fair amount of distance, makes things difficult for the swarm missile player
hitting that
to
swarm.
actually land the shots. He is. He's straight up arcing that sniper shot up and over and hitting the swarm missile launcher. It looks like he's going to defend that off. But
It has knocked the windmills off, though.
I mean, the wind turbines are not. Oh yes, because
The wind.
he had to solidify his wall there to save his swarm missile, which is going to harm. And it's going to give time for Firework to launch his swarm missile first. This is gonna put Felix here in a bad position. What makes things worse is that on the right-hand side, Firework is expanding downward. Because the other thing that swarm missiles have a hard time dealing with is bases that have a lot of vertical space. Do you remember, anti-air takes a lot of space. It takes a lot of real estate on your front lines. So as long as you have extra space vertically to work with, as we have here, given these upward and downward expansions, you can put a lot of gunners in these. And that can just straight shut down missiles of all kinds. Any kind of weapon that's vulnerable to anti-air, rockets and swarm missiles.
Felix has just realized there's a foundation below.
Yeah, so we're already here. We have machine gunners that are inside their own little pits, immune to basically everything, gunning things down. Now, of course, 2 machine gunners is not gonna be enough to save his base from double nuclear launches, but
There is mortars,
he has
though.
the option. Yeah.
The mortars, now there's 2 plays you can do, is like hits them, another one is to drain the gunners out.
Well,
and then do that.
The mortar out of Felix here is going to be to distract the gunners, giving the swarm missiles, or rather the nukes, the better opportunity to launch.
Oh,
to
one
hit the
land,
target.
2 landing, actually. Ooh, will we see Felix actually being able to... Oh, there we go.
There we
There's
go.
one going,
There's one,
and there's the
there's
second one
2.
going.
And then there's the mortar. There's the mortar. All the machine guns
Yeah.
shoot up in the mortar, and the nukes fly freely.
Oh,
Almost freely.
One of them getting taken down, the other one causing a little bit of Swiss cheese. There's a random bolt just off-ski. RNG.
Here we go
You
again.
gotta love the RNG sometimes. And now Nuke coming back, and no. Oh. Ooh, that. Ooh. That was nearly the end.
Yeah, Felix with his aggressive opener really put himself behind. He just doesn't have the ability to mount the offense he wants and defend himself. He's trying to fix that by adding wood on the front of his fort, but it's gonna be rough here. It's definitely gonna be rough here for him.
Here comes one nuke, the other one is repairing, and now there's the other one, and there they go. Oh, we got a drunk nuke. Oh, Oh, you gotta love the drunk nuke. Ooh, completely severing the ties with the bottom of the fort now.
RNG every time. Every time. We made, of course. Oh, looks
Should
like
I
he's having
pause?
a game crash. Go ahead and pause game. There you go.
Yeah. Windows button, Alt tab. Oh, fixed. So we're
Alright, I
good
think
to
he's
go.
got it.
Okay, let's begin.
And we're off.
Here comes some nukes. And there's no gunners to take this down now.
Yeah, with those drug nukes making it through the first time, that's gonna change things a lot. The aggressive play out of Felix here is gonna start paying off. Those nukes are going to land. Damage is going to be done.
Felix is stuck at 3 FP. Have you fed your hamsters recently?
Geiger moment. Yeah, I think they're having some desync issues after fireworks breakdown. After fireworks game breakdown. We've seen that happen before where minor desync can continue the game, but it causes some issues.
Well, they're not. They at least know they're not. This isn't whoever wins moves on.
Yes, we're just here to show the map and see what happens when we put pro players on them.
This is definitely become a bit of a nuke thing. Quickly placing down the windmill to take the hit.
That's something we don't see often, but that is certainly fun. We may want to redo this one, just so that we have a better show. Because remember that stability of the map is an element by which these will be judged. I think that this is more due to Firework having issues than the map itself.
Are we wanting to then do a quick redo once this one ends then? Because we only have 10 seconds left.
Yes, I think we may want to do that.
Are we wanting to change up the players or keep them the same?
Ooh, Team 2 with the victory, coming in last second with the damage.
Okay.
I think we should just let it go. And
Should we?
I
Okay.
think we'll let it go. The map looked stable and it looked fine. I'm going to credit it to something going wrong with Fireworks side.
Alright, so you guys can get your votes in for the map from Little Wren. And you can take it from there and see what we get. Let me just bring, not that one. I have so many windows open now that I've confused myself. Right. So the first thing first is the look of the map. How do you feel about it?
The look of the map, I think that looked great. It's like aesthetically, it's clean. It doesn't have a whole lot going to it, not a lot of complexity, nothing special. Like I can't give it like bonus points for being extra ornate or anything, but it is otherwise, I think, good.
Yeah, it's not too cluttered, not too empty. Unified theme and everything, there wasn't anything that was making anything. I do feel like the only one thing is I feel like this is like a little thing that's for a few of the maps where you're like, oh, it's like vanilla and everything. The only thing is, how many maps can you have that are just like vanilla?
Indeed. I mean, most maps are going to be similar. That is to some degree the idea. Most maps aren't looking to be something wild and zany. You have a few of them in there, but a lot of those maps aren't very popular. Like, there's a reason people like playing the ranked maps. It's because they allow for a wide variety. Just because it's a sandbox doesn't mean it isn't good. People like being able to bring their own elements to it.
Yeah.
So we want to have these kind of, most of the time you want to have these kind of generic maps that you can have, that you can just take with and run and do whatever you want. Now, that's not to say it's a bad thing to have a map that tries to tell a story, or a map that forces one thing or another that specializes, but it doesn't fit most of the theme that we're attempting to go for with the ranked map.
Yeah. What do you want to rate this one?
So for rating aesthetically, I'm gonna give it, I think I'll give this one a 7. Like, it's pretty good. I think I'll give this one a 7. That sounds good to me.
Now, gameplay, we have the issue that we noticed that the players are having minor desyncs. We don't know if that was, well, I think it's fair to assume with your thing there as well that it's probably down to the players more than the actual map. Because internet is a lovely thing in the world. It never plays ball with any of us.
Yeah, that one I won't credit the frame rate issues to the map. I think that was just a desync that caused an issue. I've seen that before, where after a desync or something goes wrong, when it recovers, that it can have frame rate issues for the players involved.
Yeah.
That I would credit to someone's game breaking as opposed to anything else.
Was there any really unnecessary frustrations going on? I wouldn't say so. I mean, there was quite a bit. I mean, the starting forts, for instance, they were easily customizable. You know, everything starting in the map was very balanced. The
Indeed,
match,
I did think it played very well. I love the expansion opportunity. There's risk and reward.
yeah,
It's not super defensible. The expansions being straight down means that you don't get the extra support that you would get from a forward expansion. So you don't have these super tanky bases. You only get 4 mines in the starting base, but you can expand to up to, I believe it was 6 was the total. Let me check my notes here. Lil Ren goes up to 7 mines apparently. So I guess you get 2 in the bottom expansion. And I think I will actually give this one, gameplay wise, I'll give this one an 8 here. Between 8 or 9. I'm gonna go with an 8.
yeah. Don't put an 8.5 because apparently the entire thing goes no.
I wasn't planning on going decimals.
The standards of the map.
Standards. They were, as far as I can tell, perfect.
Yeah. Everything seemed to be exploding on contact. Everything was doing as it was told. Nothing seemed to be cheesable or broken. So definitely think that one is pretty high in the standards criteria, to be fair.
Yes. I'm between a 9 and a 10 on that one. That's very good. Very good.
Now,
Looking in the in-game chat here, I'm not seeing any comments or concerns about the map, so that's about the best we can ask for.
yeah, I mean, usually you get the vocality if something's wrong. Otherwise, they're just like, yeah, I enjoyed the map. It's fine. Fair play. You know.
Yeah.
Done.
That looks good to me. All right, so then we can move on to the next, which will be Merrick's.
Yes. Merrick's is up next for the judging call. Let's just find him. Where is he gone? Where is it? Why do I... Oh, because it's down here. There we go. Now this one is intriguing because it reminds me of an octopus.
Oh dear. That's gonna be fun. One more time, I will post the voting link in chat for you guys. Get those votes in while we start up this next match.
Yep. And who are we gonna vet? Are we having Land Plant versus someone?
I think they're calling for Bowser to go to 1v1 him.
Oh. Is Bowser going to move?
I don't think he wants to.
He's like, no, I don't want to vest him. No, I don't. Don't want to
there
vest
he
him.
goes. Okay.
Right, let us begin. So
Let's do
Morax is Map, who is quite the map maker in himself. You usually find him anytime you're searching for maps, you usually find Moraxes there somewhere going on.
Indeed. So here on the left-hand side, we have land planters, starting off with a technology starting going into some wind turbines. And on the right-hand side, we have Bowser. Starting off with a mine. Actually kind of surprised we didn't see land planters start off with a third mine.
Yeah, because obviously land plant's going to be a little bit ahead in terms of technology, but we do have Bowser going with quite a little bit of resource heavy. But then again, we do have the third mine coming in at that little bottom bit. That seems to be the only place you can expand to. Yes.
You only have the forward expansion access here, and he's going to be putting more mines there. I'm curious why land planters didn't put a mine underneath next to his other...
Not aware of it, maybe?
Surely not. Every time you select the mines, it glows green. You should at least have tried.
Oh.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
That's one way of doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's going for a swarm missile rush. Double swarm missile rush. This is something that was actually mentioned in the map description, that you can put swarm missiles here, both between these mines and behind the core. Now, of course, that basically prevents you from having any space in your base to do anything, but it is an option and can be great for a swarm missile rush. Definitely weakens your base and makes you more vulnerable to, well, everything. But hey, if you're going for a swarm missile rush, you're not really expected to get shot much anyways. If you are, then you've already lost.
He's selling off some of the wood as well to try and... do you think he'll go upgrade? I mean, he doesn't have an upgrade facility. Or do you think he's just going to stick with the swarms?
He has to stick with the swarmers for now because he started with 2 mines and then expanded.
Oh.
So it's going to be a while before he can get the nukes, and if he's going to wait for the nukes, the game will be over if he waits for the nukes. He's got to fire the swarms and work with that. Now, of course...
Oh!
Yeah, Bowser on the right-hand side is already prepared for that. He's got anti-air ready to go in multiple forms of anti-air. He is having to deal with his buzzsaw, which is... causing some problems for him, but it's not going to cause that many problems. It's not going to stop him from defending himself from these swarm missiles. Yeah, turbines alive, no damage received. I do want to mention in chat, we have some comments about the theme of this map, of this session, really. It seems to be forward expansions. Yeah, there's a lot of forward expansions here, though I do want to point out that this forward expansion does not support the defenses, does not directly support the defenses of...
Shut down the upgrade there.
The regular, of the standard, of the rest of the fort. So this is not going to be something that greatly increases the longevity of the fort here. Oh! The EMP.
Trying to actually... He's got 2 snipers. He's almost trying to, like, entice the gunners to open and try and get to them in some form. Uh-oh. So, Lamplant getting hit in the face with his own swarms.
That's a fun but rare interaction. Swarm missiles interacting with nukes. I'm sorry, swarm missiles interacting with EMPs. EMPs will basically cause the swarm missiles to fly randomly. But
that nearly caused the fort to snap.
Yeah, literally the buzzsaw doing more damage than anything else. Bowser not prepared to take buzzsaw hits anywhere.
Some rather interesting is because you've seen the EMP hit that and not all the swarms into the windmills.
Indeed. The wind turbines are an incredibly important part of any kind of swarm missile build. But these swarm missiles aren't being fired at a rate where the wind turbines are going to make or break it at this point in time. It's just funny to see when the swarm missiles leap back and deal damage themselves. I just appreciate that Bowser is like specifically aiming his EMPs to shut down the swarm missiles, which pretty much just means that he wasn't intending to deal damage to his opponent or apply pressure. He's just trying to hold the line, build up to whatever his strategy was, which appears to be upgraded flaks, or should I say shotguns and rocket launchers.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he's gonna clear the sky. He's gonna clear the anti-air for Team 1 here. He's gonna clear out all of Land Planter's anti-air with a shotgun, and then in comes the rocket, while the area is clear for massive damage. Kaboom. That's gonna be a hefty repair build. Remember that Land Planter's here on the left-hand side, sitting on 4 mines, and he's got. It's enough to repair things and heal things, but it's not enough to. It's not enough to expand while doing so.
It looks like everything seems to be, because one thing I've been kind of carefully paying attention to is like when things are hitting, like if they're hitting pieces of land and everything, if they're interacting the way that they should be. And it seems to be as well, it fairly much is. We do have the nuke now finished for Land Plant on the left side. It is now launching, so we're about to see how well that's going to... Never mind. I just didn't even get to finish that sentence.
Yes,
so
Bowser has set up plenty of anti-air. He probably wants to get more just to be comfortable, but he has plenty of anti-air for sure. He's really trying to disconnect that forward expansion. The forward expansion is vulnerable. If it disconnects, Land Plant just loses half of his economy, and he just falls apart. Ooh, there goes the turbine.
yeah, a few
Lost
trades for
performances.
trade almost going on there, but nothing to stop. Oh,
That's just repair bill after repair bill.
uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Is he gonna come in with a shotgun? He is.
Oh, shotgun taken down though
Oh.
by the minigun.
That hurts.
But oh, ouch.
There's still
Other
no
windmill going.
anti-air. Yep, Land Planters is in a bad way right now. No more wind turbines to supply the nuke. He can fire it, I'm sure, but it's not going to be able to come up cooldown for a long while.
A very good hit it there. This nuke either has to land or it...
Nope.
Ah!
Still enough anti-air out of Bowser to keep the skies clean.
Whew.
That was Land Planter's biggest hope there. He was hoping to get damage done while Bowser's anti-air was compromised, but it still wasn't enough. Now Land Planters is not sure what his plan in here is now. He's trying to rebuild his turbines to get things going again, but it's gonna put him in a rough spot. Definitely gonna put him in a rough spot to be. Bowser is again aiming low. Again, if Bowser can remove that forward expansion, Land Planters just falls apart entirely. He will not be able to recover. Just the economy drain of having to repair the damage from those rocket hits is just way too much. Ooh,
Shut
the
down
EMP
there.
shuts down the snipers. That means that the nuke will not be flying today.
Oh, he's
Now,
trying to
neither
get it off
player-
though. Oh, there it goes,
This
and
flag surely takes
shut
it down.
down.
Yeah. So this match will end in 3 seconds. I'm not sure who will come out on top. I suspect right-hand team will be the victor, just based on damage alone, because neither team has done damage to each other's cores. So it will go down to who has done the most damage overall, and I think that one will go to right-hand side. That one will go to Bowser here.
And
Just the anti-air shuts it down.
done.
Yes, Team 2 with the victory.
All right, let's bring up our judgy criteria. And of course, Morak's map is now up for everybody to see. So, I rated this one kind of high and start with as well. I think one of my sort of things about it was I felt like the wind floor might needed adjusting, as I felt it was too high for 100% windmills, but that was more of a personal preference. But there's a great attention to the detail. There's kind of like a lot going on. It doesn't feel scrappy. You know, you have a sort of small starting fort to begin with, but there's, you know, forward expansion going on. And no errors that seem to be popping up or anything like that. So yeah.
So aesthetically, it's different than the rest. It
Yeah.
has these very spirally, flowy design patterns going all over the place. That adds a bit to the messiness of it. But is that bad? And I don't think so. One thing that I found a little bit it kept drawing my eye's attention is that right down the middle there's a split between the two forts. You have a what is the word I'm looking for? A kind of a dark versus light dichotomy going on there. And that it keeps my eye keeps getting drawn to the line between the two. That is for sure. But other than that, like I like the map. Honestly, compared to the other maps, it just looks good.
Yeah, I mean, you boot it up, you without any errors, you know that you're getting a fairly competent, fun, all-rounder, great map. And if it popped up in ranked play, you'd be like, all right, I can, you know, work with this. You know what you're getting, you know what you're doing,
Absolutely.
sort of thing. So, most definitely. In terms of gameplay, fun to play. Looked like it was fun. Lots of different strategies coming in, lots of different weaponry coming in, and you know it would appeal to ranked players of all levels in terms of what they can do with their forts.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't feel too short because it was 10
One
minutes.
thing I did want to mention, it seemed like there was a lot you could do with the starter base. Like there were some obvious inefficiencies. Like there's a lot of long, like max length braces, but it wasn't. They weren't in places that would cause problems. There were things that you could redesign, and I think that was actually nice. So I think gameplay-wise, we gotta give that. I gotta give that at least vanilla grade good. You know what? Might be slightly better than somewhere between an 8 and a 9 on gameplay.
I'm gonna go with a 9.
Okay. Standards-wise, I can't see any reason not to give that a 9.
Yeah, no, like that was up there with some of the best, to be fair.
Excellent. All right, so that should be rounding off our judgment of Merrick's map.
Now we're on to Maladorian, who gave me a little bit of a message, actually. Let me just bring
Indeed. His map comes in with some special features. It includes a cutscene, but the cutscene is only available if you play it single player. So we may have to show that off. But for the multiplayer element is where the judgment really comes in. Here's the thing. In order for you to show it off, you're gonna have to close the lobby, and that's kind of a disaster.
What I could do is you could show it, and I could just screen capture from your stream.
We could do that.
If I might interject here, I'm fairly certain the cutscene does not display properly, either in this one nor in Thonio's. I checked them earlier today, and both had missing images interspersed in the middle that were covering things up.
Yes, I did notice that as well. So that is something I did comment on. However, it is still a cutscene, and I think it is worth showing
Yeah,
off.
get Maladorian. He did say like, because him and Fonio are actually creating a custom campaign, and they've got 3/5 of it currently sort of done, and cutscenes are like part of that, and so it's pretty cool. And I think that we should show it so that people can have, you know, the set to see everything about it. To be fair.
So I'm going to go ahead. I'll do that. I'll do that right now.
Okay,
Go ahead
wait.
and hop in the skirmish. I'll wait for you to.
Gotta find the
worry, I will wait.
Incursus. That's not the right one. There we go. There we go. Right, I've got that. I've got it up. Gotta find the Incursus. I was wondering why I could hear music there. The music you have. I've got it up. Because the music you
Yes.
have is the music I use in one of my clients' videos.
That makes sense. All right, so are we ready?
Yes. Oh, Biffa, by the way, I
Here we
had it
go.
for him. In Australia, shortly after the end of the Moonshot campaign. That it?
And we have text. So, sir, the shuttles are almost fully fueled, but we have a slight problem. What kind of a problem? Error. Kind of obscures the text a bit. Contact
Yeah.
Phantom. See if we can sneak in and get any intel on this mystery fort.
Dun,
Yes, sir.
dun.
Phantom, report on the enemy fort. Sir, the enemy fort looks like it's been observing the completion of the shuttles. Fortunately, I might be able to sneak in under the cover of battle. Then that's what we'll do, Phantom. Prepare the fort for battle. Yes, sir. And away we go. And so that starts us off. This fort does have AI, which is cool. It will begin doing its own things. It's not a particularly fast AI at this point in time. Certainly not ultra hard. But then we move on to the map and we can do all these things. Look, it builds. So I think that will cover this. We'll switch back over to letting the multiplayer elements of this happen. We'll cover this here. Or did I miss it? Oh, yep. Let's do this. There we go. Thank you.
Voila. And now I believe, well, just need you to rejoin the lobby.
Mm-hmm. Where did I put the password for this? 1 moment. I gotta log back in here. I'll be here. I'll be there in a moment. And so that's the cutscene. So that's something to keep in mind.
Looks like we're getting Felix against Ethan, and they will be taking on this map. It's not gonna desync, is it? No.
No, the cutscene won't even attempt to play. It's something that only happens in single player. But we are ready to go.
Let's do this and begin. I will let you do the talking, because I need a drink.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, here on the left-hand side, we have Felix. Starting off with mines and looking like he's going for the forward expansion. On the right-hand side, we have E10. Expanding backwards rather than going for the forward expansion like his opponent is. Also starting with a mine, but this time also a workshop. Maybe for some aggressive play. I think he's trying to figure out how to connect to the other side here. That is a bit of a gap. One thing that I found interesting about this map is that the expansions are not easy to get to. They're not easy to reach at all. You have to spend a great deal of resources to expand all the way back here, and it's structurally not stable. Similarly, reaching this far down can be problematic. Now, once you get down there, you can redesign your base a bit to have some more stability. But it is something that's going to be a bit of a problem if you're just attempting to expand. Looks like another player is getting particularly aggressive here. Both of them working on dealing with a lot of this extra space. For example, we see E10 here who has gone with rear turbines, or is attempting to build more rear turbines. Both players just keeping each other in check. We've got a sniper coming out here, just keeping them honest, but we're not seeing anything particularly cheeky here. I'm excited to see how these players pan out. Looks like we actually have some heavy weapons in the plan for E10 here. Yeah, that's a heavy weapons style rush. Here we have the expansion all the way to the rear. Felix taking full use of that. Rather than having the wind turbines dangle below, he's setting them all the way in the back. We actually have heavy weapons out of both players here. This is going to be exciting. We haven't seen both players go heavy weapons yet. I'm curious I wonder what prompted it. Maybe it was they both decided to expand and said, "Oh, well, since we're both expanding, might as well go heavy weapons with this."
I have returned.
Indeed.
Did I miss
Welcome back,
much?
Frazzz. No. Well, both players are starting slow. They've both gone for expansions. They're both going for heavy weapons, so that's going to be an exciting bit. We haven't seen heavy weapons really yet, and we're going to see how it pans out here. Both players have managed to put their turbines in locations that are basically unattackable from the front. They require indirect fire of a kind. Left-hand side, Felix has gone for a higher economy, going up to 6 mines, while E10 is not at 6 mines. He's gone for a lower economy, but the trade-off is he already has a cannon placed and is under construction at this point in time.
See, the first thing I'm noticing about this map is it's quite large. In terms of the amount of resources as well, and where you can expand to. The forts feel like these are some of the biggest forts that we've seen in terms of maps so far.
Indeed, the amount of mines that you can get isn't that much higher than most. It's only 6 mines, so that's not unusual. However, these forts are a bit bigger. They start with the extra tall bracings that are supported in the core. They start with three grid spaces wide, or 3 blocks wide. They start with a very good, frankly, a very good starter fort that doesn't need any serious redesigning, like, at all. So there is that to keep in mind, that you don't need to redesign. It enables for some super easy defenses early on, which is something a lot of forts usually can't justify. As we see here, we have 2 cannons placed on the left-hand side. Hasn't even cross-braced his base, because he doesn't need to, because it's strong enough to begin with.
Noticing a few of them commenting on the wind floor being a bit weird.
Okay.
Like you've seen here, Geiger, some YOLO Swaggins, wind floor right there. Felix saying the wind floor is a bit weird. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I would need to do a bit more. I would need a better description than weird. But it's definitely different. It allows the wind floor kind of changes so that you can fit turbines below, but also not really. You have to dangle it lower than you would want.
These small doors are just insane.
I mean, that's not a new thing. We've done that for a long time.
I know, it's just like Geiger just like showing this like, ow.
Max mines is 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
If you adjust the starter mines, yes. Without adjusting the starter mines, I was referring. Tiny doors.
Oh.
You can core swing your core behind the down into where the turbines are. Yeah, you could, although that probably wouldn't be a winning strategy.
Some very, very tall forts going on right now. And it's starting to give me anxiety looking at this one on the right.
Oh, that base is nowhere near collapsing. It's got some deformation. It actually has enough deformation. I think those cannons cannot properly be fired at their opponent. It might be able to target the mines.
He has to get rid
below.
of the sandbag, kind of shielding it a little.
Get rid of those doors.
Oh, I mean,
one
he's
of the
still...
cannons can still shoot. It's the second one.
Oh, it can still shoot. But I had to get rid of obviously the sandbag there.
Yeah. He's shooting through the tiniest little... Oh! Disconnecting from the floor. Good thing he wasn't relying on that. That hurts. Tiny door design too delicate. Yeah, I tend to not use the tiny door design too much. I'll use it sometimes, but it could be... It has its issues with deformation. And if you expect to take a lot of hits, you really got to be careful where you put your tiny doors. That's
because
officially core damage has been dealt.
I think that's probably one thing I would say is like the tiny doors. Like if they get deformed in any shape or form, they're kind of useless to that point.
Yes.
Oh, core damage on both now.
Now I have no idea who's technically winning.
Oh, second shot on the core again.
Indeed, I would actually give, in terms of current gameplay position, I would give inside Felix here the advantage. He's got turbines in a more stable position. He's got a bit more stable of a base. His cannons are further back, so they're not putting as much pressure on the front, which means he can really stack on the armor to the front of his base. Both bases have issues with taking chip damage. That's something they have to be concerned about. They're both up on the same economy levels right now. You reckon he's gonna lose on time here? Very possibly. This is not... This match is set to a very restrictive time limit, such that the match ends faster. Just so we can see how the map plays and get to judging it quicker.
Yeah, so Felix has taken numerous shots or like splash damage to the core. He's not. Oh, last minute for their last shots.
I like how he's sniping the machine gunners, despite neither team having air-based weapons.
I feel like if someone got a door snipe right now, that would be like...
He almost got it, the tiniest of doors, which is hilarious.
Who will win? One shall fall, and one shall reign supreme.
I think he tried for door snipe there. Didn't quite work out.
Oh!
Oh! There's the door snipe. Actually, was that a door snipe? I think that just dropped in from above.
Yeah, it looked like it just came... Just the tiniest bit, because it was the bit that he originally had a sandbag on. He originally had a sandbag on it.
65% to 68% reactor health. That is, talk about chip damage. That's close.
Was the tiniest.
The tiniest margin.
Oh, very well done to the players joining us. Now, if you want to vote for this map, here's a link. Get to it. Do it now. I'm moving mine away. I want to see what I'm putting. Then we can keep an eye on all the goodies. Alrighty, so that was Mandalorian Jedi with his map.
Mandalorian Jedi.
Mandalorian. I can't speak now. So let's just bring up his map here as well. And we'll bring up the criteria we're judging them for. judge. All right. So, what do you think of the look of the map, dear Incursus?
The look of the map, I think it looks great. I think it really does look great. The cracked ground, it's not something that we haven't seen before in other maps, but it is good, and it's well made, and it uses one of the new moonshots backgrounds, which is cool. I can't think of anything that detracts here from the
Because it's
aesthetic.
one of the few that does, isn't it?
Yes. And so that looks really good for me. Let me go ahead and pull up my map scoring screen here. I'll go ahead and give this. Honestly, I'm giving that a solid 9 for the aesthetic here. Gameplay
I would go
wise-
with the same for that one, actually. I definitely would go with the same for that. Gameplay. There we go.
Gameplay. What do you guys think who have played it?
Back to the game.
Well, they're really not saying much about it, so I think that's a good indicator. I can't think of anything that's really notably concerning about it. It's got a decent amount of mind space, but not too much.
Yeah, it
The
didn't
wind
really
floor,
do anything bad. Some of them did make mention of the wind floor being a bit weird, but they didn't really expand on that. So I don't know what they mean as in too low, too high, a bit in between.
I didn't. For the most part, I didn't notice that there was any notable wind floor. That's really all I can say about it.
Yeah, got the same thing here. They're saying one thing I'd say is the wind floor being weird.
Yeah, I think
Still
it
no-
just has a reset period if you try moving too far back, is what it is.
It's not consistent over the full map. Ah, okay. So, I mean, that would probably come in as standards, maybe not gameplay. Maybe. I mean, in terms of gameplay, it looked fun to play. There's a lot of choices. Felt balanced. You know, the forts were very customizable. There was a lot you could do. I think that probably one of the maps with the most customization available to the game, the players.
There is some talk about being able to course swing. I don't know if that's a real concern.
If you're able to course swing, then you're able to course swing.
They're specifically mentioning course swinging into the divot, but I don't think that's a real concern.
That would take that would take some amount of preparation, and by the time you prep for that, you're probably going to be dead. I'm gonna say a solid 8 for the gameplay though in this one for me. You know, everything seemed usable, total
Yeah, I
resources
think,
available and everything. So
I think I can agree with that. I'll give it a solid 8.
the standards of it.
Standard, I didn't notice anything concerning.
No, I mean, obviously I wasn't here for the sort of very initial part of it, but was there anything wrong with any train connecting or buildable stuff?
No,
It was-
not that we found.
So I mean, the standards are probably maybe about a 9 for that one.
Yeah.
You already beat me
That's-
to it and put a 9. Fine. We're on to Pan W. But make sure you guys get your vote in. The voting's still open for Mandalorian. Maybe.
Okay. So that looks good. Yes, the voting is still available. So if you guys wish to vote, make sure to follow that link.
Just a quick little thing for people as Mandalorian has messaged me just saying the current version has an updated cutscene. Excuse me, and also if you defeat the AI, there's actually an ending cutscene. Very much ties into they do have a new campaign coming up. So keep an eye out for that one.
That sounds good to me. As always, we do expect these players will be fixing their maps as time goes on. Or at least the version that we see here will not be the version that goes directly into ranked. There will be bug fixes and some other fixes along there. But for now, let's go ahead and move on to Pan W's map.
Which is one of the ones I actually quite like a lot as well.
Ooh, exciting.
I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. Yeah, I did actually.
Bowser, why is he perpetually almost AFK? Why are you like this?
He doesn't like us very much.
I think he's just not paying attention. That's fine. It's been a couple hours of him waiting in lobby.
All right, so we get Land Plant against Geiger. We just wait, what? Apparently it's not. Oh, there we go. Everybody just screaming at Bowser, just like, Bowser, download the map. Ah, it now. There we go. Begin. All right. Who will win? Who will lose? Yes. Now, this map is definitely going with a different sort of color scheme as well initially from all the others, I think.
Indeed.
It also, I don't know, something about it, I initially was like, oh, I like this. So yeah.
Well, it does have one of the newer themes, and it's a theme that's different, and certainly it's a bit more bright, I think, than a lot of the other themes. A lot of the other themes can be darker and such. This one it's got that those yellow tones, those soft yellow tones that you don't really see elsewhere. But that is the background. Here things look a little bit strange because here on the left-hand side we have Geiger. Looks like just redesigning his base a little bit, getting his economy going.
I'll break a little bit here, add a little bit here.
Indeed. And on the right-hand side, you have Land Planters. Doing very much so the same thing, opening the same technologies, the same strategies, both ways around. This map is obviously very different than the other maps we've seen. It's got a different size, different shape fort to begin with. And more importantly, you start with a higher ground. You can just straight up build up here where your second layer of mines are. And even further, you can build even higher up.
So one thing was mentioned there, I don't know if it's really a thing to counter with, is if you go up the map, you can go up very, very high.
Yeah, I just noticed it.
I don't know if it's really an issue because in terms because you'd probably be focused on what your opponent's doing in that. You wouldn't really tend to go way up. I don't know. There's not like a hotkey that puts that way up anyway as well.
I wouldn't call it a problem, but would definitely. You can go so high that the bases aren't visible, which I think is not good, and is something to keep in mind here.
Yeah. Got some pulp shots coming in here.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's damage. That's 400 metal for turbines just eliminated immediately.
2 windmills just gone.
Indeed. That is one of the issues of spending so much time on structural reformation.
I love how someone's just saying the height is very good for seeing tier 3s.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, tier 3s tend to prefer wide distances, but let's see. I have a question in chat. Can you fit a swarm missile at the top peak here? Yes, you can. On the third little spot where you can expand to, you can fit a swarm missile up there. Although you can also fit a swarm missile where these mines are currently, down in the middle step. So that's actually probably, I'm sure, going to be a strat that we see. a few times. Just one additional mine to get up to 3, and then we see double swarm missile. Gonna be strong, I imagine.
I think we're getting some lasers.
Ooh. You
But
should be able to get the second shot in. Yep, there goes the fire beam. That's gonna be rough. The fire beam plasma beam combo is most deadly when it has, well, a fire beam and a plasma beam. Alas, we do not have both, as the sniper has just come in.
It's
and
really
chopped it
nice to
down.
see the buzzsaw in use. I always feel it's the most underutilized weapon.
The buzzsaw, it's just a weapon. It's not particularly cost efficient. It's expensive. You can't use it forever, and it really is only useful against wood spam.
Yeah.
Or some. It's like an anti-cheese weapon that is in itself its own cheese. So.
I mean, it was. I do remember when it was coming into it, like it was marketed as the sort of anti-wood spam weapon. So it does have that. We do have right hand side going for a very powerful move if he pulls it off, which will cause a lot of damage. a lot of damage.
Yeah. Now we're about to get to the point where this is going to be relevant, but the starter base of this is a little bit difficult. It's not particularly sound, and it's not easy to redesign. It makes it kind of structurally vulnerable to most things, and there's not much you can really do about it other than suffer.
It's like you will suffer everything. Oh.
Oh, that timing.
Ah.
Yep. There it is. That's exactly what I mentioned. Like, you do not survive that. It's just kind of how it is.
It's like either you were prepared for it, thinking it might have happened, or you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's very difficult to defend that base design.
Let's just bring up PanW's map, and we will also go in here, and so you guys can vote for it. So if you wish to, head over there and you can vote for PanW's map if you liked it, if you didn't like it. I like, in terms of look for that one.
Appearance, I think that's got a pretty solid aesthetic. It's got nothing special. It is simple.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it's. I know some people were saying about the props. I didn't necessarily feel like it was necessarily the props didn't feel too overwhelming to me. It didn't feel cluttered. The space seemed well utilized. It was a bit more. I liked it. They picked something different for the background as well. Map details stayed the same as. I'm going to go for a 9. No, I'm going to go for an 8 for the look of the map for myself.
Yeah, I think I could agree with that. It does look pretty. Like 8 is where I put like the vanilla of things, somewhere between a 7 and an 8. So I think that's about accurate there.
Now gameplay, though, what do we think?
Gameplay. So gameplay, I didn't see anything that was particularly bad about it. It's got swarm missile locations for easy swarm missile rushing. It's got these tall bases, starter bases that are hard to defend. It's got nothing that would prevent it from having access to all weapons there. I would suspect matches would be a bit quicker on that map. The forts themselves didn't have some large amount of starter resources.
You did say about the sort of like them not really being structurally sound to start with.
Yes. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does mean that it's going to be very difficult to defend your bases here.
Yeah. I'm going to... I mean, every weapon was usable, and I think that's the first laser we've seen the whole game.
It was, surprisingly.
I'm going to go with a nice rounded 8. You know, I'm going to keep it an 8 for the gameplay.
I think I'd have to agree with that. Or a 7. It is particularly... I think I'll actually give that one a 7.
Now, the standards of it, though.
Standards, it seems pretty alright with the exception of the ability, the panning up and down. That's something super easy to fix. I'll drop that to an 8, just because it does need fixing in its current state. Or should I say it should be fixed in its current state.
Thing. In all honesty.
But that's a pretty solid map, I would say. Definitely fun.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely like what was produced. I mean, I think one thing that is very much becoming extremely apparent through this is it's becoming quite a close call. Because there's a lot of very, very incredible maps. All very great map makers in terms of everything they've made. And you can find these all on the store. Well, I think you can find most of them on, apart from if they're hidden. And they're just like, you know, every map maker, it's fortunately been out a while that it's now at the point where you're getting, you know, high level tier stuff. Hence the developers are like, yeah, let's fling one of them in the official rank pool.
Yeah, honestly, if there's any map here, we haven't really seen any maps here that are bad. Like I can't, even the last map, we see people that seem to be controversial in some of the voting on it. It's like, well, for me, the way I vote, the way I'm doing it is in my brain. If I take about solid 8 is where I put vanilla. So I would say more interesting than vanilla aesthetically is when you get higher than an 8. More gameplay options available than vanilla is where you get higher than 8. I didn't really see more gameplay options here than vanilla, and considering that you kinda have this extra vulnerability built into the base, that's where I got my 7 from. But it's only just barely. It's there. It's about vanilla, I would say. Like, it's a solid map, and I would not be sad playing it.
This one have now is a Samster.
Oh boy.
We got a Samster one.
Here?
Well, there's a little bit in the middle, and there's all sorts of crazy stuff. We are going to have
good to me.
Bowser's going to be stepping forward to fight this time against Firework, I think. Yeah, I think we're good to go.
All right, let's do this.
Let's begin. There we go. Okay, so
this one immediately reminds me of Penguins because of the initial fort design and obviously the internal structure. Hill Fort V2. Hill Fort as well. It's got a lot of Hill Fort elements into it. Now, a Hill Fort has a central tower that cannot be destroyed at all. This one at least allows you to fire underneath, which I do like. I do like quite a bit. It makes
one thing
for some more options.
I don't know why I like this and everything for some reason, but one of the things I initially picked up about this map was the sort of steps got going on next to where the mines are. It's actually quite nice.
Yes, the mines are not flat ground, which is interesting. It is definitely interesting. It makes for a break in the change, but I don't think it has any significant gameplay effects.
No, I'm just saying, like, it felt different from the initial sort of impressions. So you load up the game, what's there for the fort, and it's like, oh, this is, different from the 2 or 3 mines along the line for yourself. And you've got a sort of varying levels of that, and it'll be interested to see the sort of gameplay that comes from players taking on that sort of thing, you know, because you can create a lot of stability. I can see that there are probably people definitely trying core swing in this map.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a lot of stability going. Are we getting, now that I've mentioned that, are we about to get, no, he wouldn't leave that as a core swing, would he? Oh no, he's building up the front.
I'm not sure what you're... Okay.
The left base, he destroyed everything away, and I thought he was about to take the core and take it for a walk.
Oh, no. He's just redesigning the front. The base, the starter base is not particularly strong. So these players are going to be spending some time doing some redesigning. This is fine. This is fairly normal, fairly common.
I did not notice that. Did you notice?
Did you notice the floating tree?
Yes, the
Yes,
floating
you
tree.
noticed the floating tree.
It cannot be
Idiots.
unseen. The floating
Nope.
tree. But yeah,
Alright.
some people definitely saying in the comments here, starting bases reminding me of lots of pillars. The middle reminds me of Penguin or Hill 4. Oh my lord.
Ooh. Almost. That is the side effect of selling off the metal of your early fort. Of course, you want to be selling it off because you want to redesign your fort, but if your opponent catches you with some buzzsaws, things can go real wrong real quick. So now we have Bowser here on the left-hand side. He's just taking things slow and methodical, replacing all of his fort with more things to make himself more defensible.
Yeah, the left side, it does seem the fort might be a little, because obviously the core is more to the front, they're actually slightly bending over the weight. Because I noticed right side, actually one of the buzzsaws blew up because it slightly touched the ground as well.
Yeah. So that happened because he kind of clipped it into the floor. If you notice on the right-hand side, the strut is laying on the ground, so that can cause problems with the hitbox of the buzzsaw. But he knew that going into it, and that's why he hasn't rebuilt it or attempted to use that box again.
We do have left side going heavy weapons, right side going upgrades. I think we might be about to see a nuke. Maybe?
Maybe. He might be saving. Right-hand side might be saving for some. Might be saving up for things. I don't know what he's actually doing. He's not doing anything right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's
nuke.
the nuke.
He's going to need a sniper down at some point. Now, left side is in maybe a small bit of trouble. There is a lot of blinking going on.
Yeah, that buzzsaw did a lot more structural deformation than left side wanted to deal with. But it is going to be fine. He's got some blinking, but he's went ahead and double based himself there. He'll be stable. He doesn't have to worry about collapse.
Oh,
it's just
there's the ropes.
he's gonna have to worry about it if he continues to expand more, which he intends to do. So that's where the ropes are coming in.
I am kind of curious, like, if this nuke will have the height to get across the middle island.
The nuke, yeah, as long as he can, remember he can adjust the height at which the nuke flies. These players know how to do that, and I don't think that's going to be a major concern. As long as he doesn't try to aim it too low, so that he won't have an issue with it. And I think he's just going to aim straight across. I'm kind of surprised neither of these players went for mortars. I know that mortars are kind of the meta for this.
Felix
And
is
also players will attempt to hard counter mortars straight away.
Felix, they're kind of wondering about the blinking, or like why it's blinking underneath the metal.
Mm. The metal itself isn't blinking. That is, I'm not sure, honestly. I don't have an answer for that.
Oh. Uh-oh. Oh.
Longest laser point in history.
Weapon we haven't seen in the in this stream thus far, though is coming out to play. I mean, I suppose you will get that arch, which will be quite nice. The only thing is he's completely shut off his windmills. They're not getting any wind at them. You know, windmill needs some wind. Can't just turn it off.
Bowser, indeed. That'll keep the turbines safe, but they aren't being nearly as effective as they could be. Once Firework manages to deal with the anti-air here, because the anti-air in a hill fort style map is traditionally very difficult to destroy here because there's no way to access it, but now that he can just directly fire them. He can fire underneath and blow them up, which he's kind of doing, but he needs to invest a little bit more into blowing them up. That way he can actually get damage done. Now,
seeing here, like, there's a 4 long metal strut there behind that 2 normal struts. One of the normal ones is blinking.
yes. So what he did is he just connected a super long single metal brace all the way up to this fort, and then there behind the metal brace is a piece of wood that's blinking. So whenever the wood breaks, it'll just go onto the metal, and the fort will be fine. You won't have to worry about it collapsing. It is just anxiety-inducing.
Did he just aim that at the island?
He did.
Oh.
And here comes the howitzer, and here comes the beginning of the end for Mr. Firework.
Ouch.
Yep.
Bad sniper.
Alas.
There's no nothing to stop this.
Yep. I think he just let it happen.
Yeah,
Because he wasn't reacting, he just kind of let it happen.
Just like, I know I'm done. I'm just gonna let it go. Let it happen. You know. Right, so we had Samster's lovely map there. Let's zoom this in a little bit. Let's give you the link to vote for Samster's map if you enjoyed it, or you didn't, I suppose. You know, you can click that as well.
Do you give us our voice? Do you voice your concerns, your comments, and your rating in the vote? Link is in chat right now. All right, so aesthetic of the map, I think it looks pretty good. Very reminiscent of Hill Fort. I do like it. Let's see.
It was a good map, or good map all around. Good, you know, seeing some weapons that we haven't even seen in the stream yet as well coming into play. You know,
Namely the howitzer.
yeah. I was a little bit skeptical of, like, it seemed to be that the idea of having a sort of structurally sound fort sort of, I take that back fairly quickly, because it seemed to be that they started getting a few red struts here and there, but nothing collapsed from the get-go. So it seemed to be that, you know, you have some top-ranking players playing here, and, you know, they know how to sort of deal with it if need be. There was no cheesing going on. Very much reminiscent of Hellfort, Penguin, maps like that, that you have to shoot over. This allowed you, as you mentioned at the start there, as like a shooting through. I could also see some things maybe with portals happening there. You know, shoot a nuke straight through it. Don't know if that would be something that ranked players might take advantage of. It could be quite nice, but we'll see. We'll see.
I am curious to see how that will work out. But aesthetically, I'm liking the aesthetic quite a lot. It's good. It's not something special, so I'm going to give it a solid 8 for its vanilla-like tendencies. And then for gameplay, I'm not seeing anything that would detract from the gameplay. You can use all the weapons. I do like it better than Hill Fort because with Hill Fort, you just have permanently protected machine gunners that you can't do anything about. It kind of requires you to, kind of limits you to use cannons to make those arc shots that can't be shot down. But with this, you can actually shoot underneath. So I think gameplay is really good. So I'm giving that a solid 8.
I would go with the same thing.
I'm almost a 9 on that one, to be honest. I'm almost a 9. But for standards, I didn't see anything that would detract from the standards. Okay. All right. That should be good to go there. So ready when you are, we can move on to Thanio's map.
Keep thinking you're saying Thanos.
Thanos. It's Thanio. Make sure to put in your final score for Samster's map.
Ah, yeah.
Like, I do think Samster's map is an improvement on Hill Fort. It is kind of a mix between Hill Fort and Penguins.
This map is also another one that has a different look to it as well.
Indeed.
And it's one of the last ones on our judging list.
Excellent.
So we're gonna have
And Incursus,
What's up?
if you wanted to showcase the cutscene.
Oh, I don't think that's going to be necessary.
All right.
I like that it does have a cutscene, though.
It is time. I guess we're having Geiger versus Felix on Fonio, the last map of our judging call. So let's see who's gonna win this. But yeah, this one, I like this one. I like, something different again, but almost feels like you're starting like with vanilla forts. Forgot the word of the damn buildings.
This one, I think, is the closest to vanilla that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
It's almost an exact replica on the starter fort. The distances are, I think, ever so slightly further. And then that's about it. There's no expansions, nothing else. There's a lot of open space, but the open space is taken up by some nice fancy decorations. That makes sense. But then we have something interesting on this map that really throws a loop for things, so to speak. If you zoom out, you'll notice on the left and right hand side of the screen, you have portals. This is like your free-for-all map, where you can shoot your opponent in the front, you can shoot your opponent in the back, you can build all of your weapons facing backwards and just rail your opponent from the side. It's something I do not know how to feel about.
Do you feel it's too cheesy?
Now you see, I'm going to answer that question with a yes. However, I understand that it is an in-game mechanic. It is something that doesn't get used a lot, and it's something that in a multiplayer session almost exclusively results in headache and lack of fun for most players involved, or at least it gets old very quickly. However, this is a 1v1 scenario. You get this map, you can plan for it, you know what to look for, you don't have and it removes a lot of the randomness that you would otherwise get from having to deal with other players or teammates hitting you or whatnot. It makes it much more manageable than you would otherwise have. So that's different. Yep.
If he doesn't if he doesn't put something quick, he's not fixing it. Oh no!
The buzz coming in and eviscerating.
It's about a fire again, isn't it? Or is he gonna?
Yep. Yeah, it is. Oh dear. Oh. Nope, he's walling it off. Okay. Oh, the buzzsaws. Oh, let's do some introductions real quick. Felix on the left-hand side, getting hit by buzzsaw after buzzsaw, just trying to defend himself against Geiger's buzzsawing over here. Geiger has gone with the high eco, slow, not expanding at all kind of builds, just straight up tech rush. Left-hand side, we have Felix, who's trying to play more to the strengths of the map and expanding and getting himself all set up to utilize these portals and whatnot. He's getting punished for it, is what's happening.
Ooh.
He's getting punished hard for it, is what is happening. He's built buzzsaws of his own in
He's
retaliation.
going for a very, like, double... I can't remember its name anymore. A very wide-braced fort compared to the smaller one as well.
Yes. That is a design that you see every so often. Oh. So there's two things to note about that design. One, it's very structurally stable versus any kind of top-down forces. It is very strong for building tall forts. Usually something you see players build, like a base within a base style, just to stabilize their forts. Additionally, on top of whatever they have currently. Unfortunately, it is extremely vulnerable to buzzsaws, and we're seeing that happen here as Felix has basically been sent back to the Dark Age with his fort. He's lost everything and is just trying not to die right now. And his opponent over here, Mr. Geiger, has nothing to stop it. Or I'm sorry, Mr. Geiger it's nothing to deal damage other than buzzsaws. He's just hitting with buzzsaws and has done terrible things here. This is this is a rough spot to be in.
I see that there's a couple of 20 mils going down.
Indeed, Geiger does seem to love his 20 mils. Well, yep, that's rough. So this goes back to what I was saying. This is a map where it's very different. It has strategies you can do, but you have to do the strategies. It's so wildly different. Just having the portals on the exterior, allowing for the loop around shots, it changes everything you know about forts. Nothing is the same. You have to play around. You have to be careful. And you have to have a strategy that capitalizes on the portals, or at least deals with the portals in some manner. Because this is what happens if you don't. If you don't prepare for that, you get hit with buzzsaws and you lose everything. Over and over again. This match is over. This is Geiger's match to end whenever he sees fit.
It's like, I'm just gonna toy with my food for a little bit. Just, you know, play around and a little poke at it here and there, and then, I'll destroy it.
We got someone in chat mentioning, imagine blowing yourself up by missing your opponent's fort with the cannon. Very possible. Very, very possible.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a possibility.
That's...
Oh. Well, there goes...
Something. Yep,
Oh.
there go all the turbines.
And he hit himself in the back.
Almost took out his own mine with that. Oh dear.
I'm curious if Felix will be able to come back from this sort of thing, because his playstyle has hampered him in this particular map.
Indeed. It's not impossible, I just strongly doubt it. The 20 mils, using the 20 millimeters over cannons is going to give Felix some extra time to play with, but it's not going to help him much because that's still 220 mils. That's still going to be a repair bill.
I do see him going for something that could benefit him.
Oh,
If he gets,
I mean,
it is a...
he can do massive damage here if he nails this shot. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have energy production. At least he doesn't have a lot of it. He's got to spend more of that in order to fix his base, so he doesn't die. But he's got one shot to make the difference.
Yeah, he's got what? Oh!
And surprise, Geiger was prepared for it. Shouldn't be a big surprise to anyone.
I feel like if that was angled at a slightly different bit, it could have hit the core.
I mean, there is metal on both sides of the core. He would have to go through the technology. Well, not anymore. There may have been a spot to do some splash damage to the core for sure. But alas.
Geiger APM go brr.
I do like that Felix is using the reverse facing cannon to hit his opponent.
Yeah, like it does create a little bit of different sort of strategy that you can then get involved in. Like, you know, people are going to face their weapons one way or the other, and you know it can be tricky to counteract it one way or another. Though, I mean, you do have Geiger with free 20 mils now.
Indeed. One thing that is interesting about this, because this really changes the way the forts work. Typically, you have a fort that looks a lot like Geiger's, where you have weapons exposed, and then you have defenses on areas that you desperately need defended. This need not be the case for maps where you have loop-style bases. Here you have an example of Felix's base, where one side is entirely defenses. There's no weapons here, there's nothing but defenses. He doesn't have to worry about having exposed weak points that can be problematic at any point in time. And on the other side is nothing but weapons. He has exposed buzzsaws. All he has to do is just have his weapons there. He doesn't have double doors on anything. He doesn't need them, because that left side can never be threatened. And Geiger has knocked himself down.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, I think the buzzsaws, what happened there.
They left nothing behind.
I did not realize there was a cutscene for the end of this. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that is funny. I want to see that again. I think that what happened there is the buzzsaws caused a bit more deformation than Geiger was expecting, including, well, hitting himself as well. And then the rest of the base just fell down behind. I want to see where those buzzsaws hit. Up top? Nope. Geiger just overreacted and collapsed himself is what happened.
Because you can see there's a little bit of red going down in that bit, and then it just seems to give way to the weight. He killed himself.
To the best of us. It happens to the best of us.
So yeah, that's the final map for us.
Indeed.
Let me just bring it forward. Funny, and yeah, let's just zoom this in a little bit. So in terms of look of the map, what do you think, good sir?
Aesthetically, I think it looks great. There's nothing that I would see wrong with the map. It looks awesome. Like, it's a nice city theme. It's beautiful. It's clean. It's got a lot of detail in it, but detail in places that aren't going to detract the eyes away. That's a good map. I'm gonna give that one a solid 9 on that one.
You beat me to it. I was gonna give it 9 too. And also, just to make sure that you guys are ready and going, and as well, you can vote for the map here. So you can vote for Phonios. I'm going to see Phanios. Phanos. Why is that? Romero, it says that one's closed.
Does it? Did he not reset it yet?
When you click it, it's just coming up saying, oh, there we go.
It's working for me.
Okay.
Just probably needed to refresh it.
done.
One thing I did want to note: this map does have AI. So if players were to play it in skirmish, that'd be excellent.
Some people saying it is actually coming up closed for them. Like, if you give it a refresh, it should work now. Ah, now it works. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Right, in terms of gameplay, I feel like, we saw that Felix tried to bring out his usual style and was crippled for it.
Yes, that is one thing that we've learned in playing community-made maps. Having portals on this side allowing for the loop style play changes everything. It changes your build orders, it changes the things that are important and the things that are not important. It changes everything about the game. You cannot bring a normal play style. You cannot play the same play style from one match from every other map into this map. It is a unique map that really doesn't translate. None of the fundamentals, everything except the fundamentals, just doesn't apply. You have to have entirely different build orders, different base designs. It's a concerning. It is definitely concerning, but it's not inherently bad. It's not intuitive, and you have to practice it. You have to play it. You have to play very specific build orders for this map. Unlike everything else, where you could kind of have similar build orders across different maps. This one just completely throws all of that out, and just you need to do something different.
Now, do you think the map is suited for a competitive environment?
I think it is suited for a competitive environment. I do not think the players are going to enjoy playing it. Just because it is so different that
it would throw a lot of people's build orders in.
It would throw a lot of people off, and it's going to be harsh. It's going to be harsh to get in there.
I don't know what to rank that, to be fair. In fact, I'm going between a 7 and an 8.
All right, gameplay-wise, is it fun? I don't know. That's going to be difficult. I'm going to have to... I think most people will not find it fun just because it's too difficult. But it is high quality. It is well made. Matches don't seem to take long. I don't imagine the matches would take too long or too short. Every weapon is certainly usable. The starting fort is good. It's about as vanilla as you get. I think it's actually stronger than vanilla, considering you don't have some of the extraneous forward bits that cause the wibble wobbles, or the topple effect, if you would. The total available resources is alright. Starting resources is good. It does have storages. It's basically just vanilla with a looping portal on the end. And I don't know.
You know what?
I'm going to give this.
I'm gonna go an 8. I'm gonna go an 8.
I'm going to give it a 7 here, but I do like. I'm very close between a 7 and an 8. It's different, and different isn't wrong. I just don't know that people would enjoy it more than most.
In terms of standards,
the standards, I didn't notice anything wrong or anything that would detract points.
I generally would put that as probably about a 9. I mean, in terms of standards, everything, it ran well. The camera positions were fine. Everything exploded. Everything was cut. So, in terms of standards across the board from all maps, really, we've had quite a few things. But with that done, once the viewers' vote finishes, would we be on?
We'll be good to go. Remember, guys, get in your votes now while you have the opportunity.
Go, 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 go.
Be heard.
If it would influence anyone's decision, this is one of the few maps that would heavily favor phantom style plays in that you can turn your weapons around after having built them.
Yes. That is something that is actually a neat note there.
Back in a second.
Would still favor Pinch. Yeah, I would still think Pinch is definitely going to be good for that map. All right, so we should be good to go there. Get your votes in, ladies and gentlemen. We actually have some, looking at the scores here, we actually have some pretty close scores going around.
Since this is indeed the last map, we'll just give it a few more minutes and then close voting and determine a winner.
Perfect. So, looking at the scores here, it looks like currently we have Kronkinator in the lead with 59.92, just shy of 60 points, which is impressive.
Alrighty.
This map kind of seems like it needs its own map pool, so there's reason to practice it and not make it seem out of place. That's kind of my concern for specifically ranked map, but the map itself is good, in my opinion. Romero doesn't vote. Romero has decided he does not want to vote.
To be fair, I have spent so much time with some of these maps, I feel almost personally invested in some of them, and I question my ability to be objective.
Mm-hmm.
No, I spent at one point
That's
3
fair.
hours determining
That's
a
fair.
very specific error, and I was so happy to finally figure out what it was. I'm emotionally invested at this point. Okay, we'll give it one more minute on the voting, and then it will close forever.
Bum,
All right.
bum, bum.
Honestly, I want Alex's map. I want Alex's map. I understand that it's not in a position where it's really ready and it needs at least another pass or two. But I want Alex's map. I really want Alex's map.
Alex's map is the current leader from the viewer votes right now.
I think right.
I don't mean overall, but I mean it is the viewer's choice in terms of the viewer rating. By a very narrow margin. All right, your very last chance to vote.
Almost there, boys. And actually ranked pretty high for the viewers.
Looks like we have two of them hitting 52. Total with viewers is nudging Kronk's like 0.3 above. But are we considering whole numbers here, or because then obviously it'd be 52-52 and we'd have Kronk and Morax as the top two.
Well, so it looks like first place goes to Kronk. Second place goes to. I think we can leave the decimals here because
Okay.
otherwise we're gonna have ties. Merrick's takes second place at 59.66.
And
Very, very close between those two. That's a viewer decision right there.
oh yeah. Is it Phonia would be? No wait. Yeah, Phonia would be third place by like literally a slither of a difference again. Viewers are definitely deciding the overall sort of points. Me and Incursus basically almost voting.
Voting very
Frazzz?
similarly. I'm
Yeah.
not surprised.
Whereas you've got the viewer decision literally teeny little bits. Kronk taking first place. Morax taking second place and Fonil taking third.
Excellent. So that is our finish. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, it's super close. Kronk's is saying there is it's super close. I mean, it's like 0.3. It's less than 0.3 of a difference between Kronk
all
and
of
Morax.
these are so close. Oh my gosh.
And
I will say this because Alex, I know, is in chat. Once Alex does a little bit more of revamping of it, actually spends a little bit more time on it, and really cleans it up, I will definitely be playing that map a lot. That gets good. And if we ever have more maps added to the ranked pool, I think Alex's map right there is going to be a front runner.
So a huge congratulations to Kronks for winning. Congrats to a huge thank you to everybody putting their maps in for us to go, haha, we're judging you. It's been fun.
It has absolutely been fun.
Well, thank you, Frazzz. Thank you, Project Incursus, for hosting this event and bearing with some technical difficulties and my speaking difficulties. And thank you to Earthwork Games for Forts.
Yeah, we wouldn't have Forts right now if we didn't have F-Art Games. Speaking of, here's a harking back to old things. I have an a Forts business card that I got when I met them at EGX. Something like 5-6 years ago?
That sounds like a collector's item.
Yes. Mine. Has all their information.
Okay. Now, before we end the stream, I do have one announcement I'd like to make.
Uh-oh.
We are currently in the planning stages now of a 4 versus 4 tournament.
Oh, really?
So we're asking people to start assembling teams now, and the tentative date is March 27th.
Okay.
More details will be posted once we finalize them, but at the moment, a 4v4, March 27th.
I remember in Cursus they were trying to, like, one of us streamed to Discord and then the other ones record off of it, sort of thing.
Yes, we were looking into logistics behind it.
There will definitely be some man-behind-the-curtain mechanics to get this to work.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I'll just...
But I think we can. That'll be something that the viewers will absolutely love, because I know you guys love your.
That would be
your
chaos.
massive battles. It would
Absolute
be. I think chaos is
chaos.
a less than adequate way to describe it. It's gonna be nuts. Every description possible.
Yeah, this has
We
been...
do have one... we are thinking of having some designated alternates who will be able to fill in for literally any team, because otherwise I don't think that tournament could finish in anything under 8 hours.
Oh,
Right.
God.
So again, if a player does not show up, then they will just grab someone from the pool, and that will be that.
I think that would work quite well, in all honesty.
I like that idea.
All right, then. And again, a big thank you to both of our hosts, to Earthwork Games, and to all of you who made maps, whether that's such a close result at the end, and to everyone here watching and voting. Your votes really did make the difference here.
Yeah, not half. A huge well done all round. I guess we're done.
That sounds good to me. I'm just making sure that everyone can see the results here on screen. Cronkinator taking first place, Merrick's taking second, and Antonio taking third.
Yeah, very well done all round. And again, thanks for having me along. And it's always a pleasure talking with you, Incursus.
Excellent, as always. Have a good one, everyone. Congratulations to the victors, and thank you all, chat. Thank you, chat, and thank you everyone for stopping by, and thank you to Romero for making everything run smoothly. Have a good one, everyone, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye. Yeah, guys, thank you so very much for joining us, and thank you very much again to Romero, Effort Games, and everything putting this together. You guys are incredible, and it's time. Well, Kronk, a huge congratulations to you. A huge congratulations to, of course, Morax and Fonio for taking second and third place. Incredible map making stuff, and I can't wait to see where this goes because it's really set a bar. A really, really high bar. And well, shall see you all next time. Bye.